will I go? At the way they'll go.
Would you like a piece of a $1.5 trillion industry? Well, I hope your answer is yes, because you want money for the mission that you're on. And if you are in the health and fitness space, then that is your reality. If you create a YouTube channel that grows into a successful business, you get a piece of a $1.5 trillion industry. And my guest today is Ben Azadi, who is a part of that industry on YouTube. He's going to be sharing his 5 tips for how he grew his YouTube channel into a full-blown business. My name is Heather Torres, and I am the host of the YouTube Made Simple show, where we are helping you overcome your fear, build confidence, and create and launch a successful YouTube channel. Now, my guest today, Ben Azadi, is one of our success students from our academy, Video Ranking Academy, and I'm so excited that he's here today to talk about the 5 steps he took to growing his YouTube channel into a full-blown business. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Ben. Ben Azadi is the founder of Keto Camp, a global brand bringing awareness to ancient healing strategies such as ketogenic dieting and fasting. He is the best-selling author of 4 books, including his newest book, Keto Flex. He's on a mission to help 1 billion people, and he's doing that through his business, Keto Camp, his YouTube channel with over 6 million views, and one of the top-rate health and fitness podcasts, Keto Camp.
Running a creator business is overwhelming. Constant content creation, community management, juggling of platforms, and unpredictable income. There has to be an easier way to monetize through memberships. Enter Uscreen. Hands down, the best all-in-one membership platform designed specifically for video creators. We help you generate consistent subscription revenue without losing your mind, with powerful monetization features, easy distribution across devices with a branded membership site and apps, sleek video organization and streaming capabilities, and community tools built to engage and retain more customers. Uscreen gives you the power to connect with your audience like never before, and the VIP treatment from our team of experts on hand to help you every step of the way. To make consistent, reliable revenue while keeping full control of the brand and business you've worked so hard to build. Start your membership journey with Uscreen today.
It's the Macy's Spring VIP Sale. Save now on the brands you love, like new looks from your favorite designers, and beauty essentials at our best prices. The Spring VIP Sale, our most exclusive brands at prices you won't want to miss. Ends Sunday.
So excited to bring to you today my friend Ben Azadi, who is growing a successful YouTube channel in the health and fitness space. And we're going to break that down today, Ben, because we have a lot of people who are interested in figuring out how do they grow their health and fitness channels. And so we're going to walk through 5 steps that you took to grow this channel today. But for those who are just meeting you, tell them a little bit about who you are and what you're doing on YouTube.
Yeah, Heather, thanks for having me. So Ben Azadi is my name. I'm the founder of Keto Camp, Camp with a K. Best-selling author of 4 books. The mission at Keto Camp is to educate and to inspire 1 billion people. So we have our YouTube channel that we launched going on 3 years now to get the message out there to the masses, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
I'm so excited. And 3 years, so first off, we'll just start with saying that it takes some time. It doesn't just happen overnight, right? But what you've been able to accomplish from this is really allowing you to speak around the country, to write these books, to create a membership program with a thriving community. And so we're going to walk through how you did that. But first, I want to know, how did you actually decide on keto? Because a lot of people come to YouTube and they go, well, I want to do health and fitness. How did keto become the main piece of what you're doing? How did you decide on that niche?
In 2008, I was obese, 250 pounds, broken, mentally obese and also physically obese. So I went through a health transformation. 9 months, I lost 80 pounds, went from physically obese to being physically fit, physical 6-pack to mental 6-pack. So I had this whole transformation, but I still wasn't necessarily healthy. So I wanted to figure out what health was. So I explored different diets and nutrition plans, vegan, etc. And then I came across keto in 2013. And it really was interesting to me. I just loved learning about it and sharing about it. At that time, my company was called Shred Fat, which is not very niche, if you will. And about 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, I hired a marketing coach to help me build my brand. And first thing he said is, got to get rid of Shred Fat. I'm like, no, I've been building this for 8 years now. I've put so much energy into it. He says, look, if you listen to me, you're going to grow much faster. We got to niche down. He said, what do you love to talk about? What lights you up? What are you energized after having a conversation speaking about? And I said, well, keto. So that's where Keto Camp spawned, and then that's where we launched the new channel. And I believe that was the right thing to do, and it really accelerated my growth because the richest truly are in the niches.
Yeah, and we've seen this experience over and over and over. I had Rob Built. He does tiny homes, so he's not just talking about real estate. He's talking about tiny home real estate, and you're doing the same thing. Rather than just health and fitness, rather than how to lose weight, it's about the specific way that you're doing that. And when you go so deep, a lot of people would say, oh, but that's too niche, right? Did you fear that? And how did you decide that that was not the direction that you were going for it?
I had a lot of pullback in the beginning because I love talking about other things. I want to talk about sleep. I want to talk about mindset. I want to talk about fitness. And basically it was, yes, eventually I'll get there, but I got to grow this audience and focus in on this niche first and then expand. And it made a lot of sense to me. That's what a lot of people do. It's what you guys teach. So I love talking about keto, and I know I could talk about it forever, but eventually I got to a point where my audience was growing, and then I could sprinkle in the mindset, and then I could sprinkle in the fasting and the sleep and all that other stuff.
Oh, please take that, YouTube Made Simple Show listeners, because that is a huge piece. You wanted to talk about all those things, but you were reserved. You decided to just talk about one thing, and that helped you to break through. And I think if more creators took that advice and did that, they would actually start to see growth happen faster because they're actually playing the YouTube game right? YouTube wants people to come to the platform, to click on videos, and to watch them. And if you're doing different types of videos all the time, it doesn't know how to categorize you. So when you came in with that mission.
Exactly, yeah. And I've sprinkled in videos in the beginning. I'm like, I'm going to go against what I just learned. I'm going to throw in a video on like mindset. And the view count was just so low compared to the other videos. And you're right, because YouTube doesn't know how to put that in the algorithm. I'm talking about keto, and then I'm talking about like John Maxwell. It's like, what do I do with this? And then it just tanks. So,
yeah. So you got to play the YouTube game right. So the first thing you did was you picked your niche. The second thing you did was actually started to study YouTube and really understanding that when you get around people who are doing YouTube, when you start to study YouTube, that's actually where growth can happen too.
Yeah, so in the beginning, the way that I launched my YouTube channel was looking at other creators in my space and what are the videos they are doing that are crushing it, like filtering it by most popular and then just putting my twist on it and recreating those videos. And I was kind of like guessing at things using TubeBuddy and just copy and pasting tags, and I didn't really have a structure, of course. And then I listened to YouTube Secrets from Sean and Benji, and then I enrolled into the Video Ranking Academy, and then now I had a structure. Now I had actual like a step-by-step structure.
Yeah.
So that's where I got strategic with it. And ever since I did that, not only was it easier for me because I knew what I wanted to do, but my channel just took off because of studying it, looking at what you're doing, and how you teach it with your system.
Well, thanks, Ben. That's so nice of you to say. But that's, I think, something that a lot of creators miss. They're like, let me grab all the free content from random people, or the idea that it's not in the right order, right? And that is when you can compress decades into days and say, no, don't do that. Do it this way, in this order. That's where you can start to see success, right? Because you're in a community that's understanding how that works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That'll accelerate your results. It did for me.
Yeah. So you first figured out your niche. You were learning from experts on how to do YouTube, and then you started delivering weekly content. Talk about that first couple of videos that you did. How did you decide to do those? And then what has your consistency been so far?
In the beginning, I committed to releasing 2 videos per week, and that could be one video if that's what your bandwidth is. For me at that time was 2 videos a week. I completed 10 videos before I even launched the YouTube channel, so I had a little bit in my arsenal, so I wasn't scrambling. So Monday, Friday, and then I would think of questions I was being asked from my clients. I would go on Google. I would go get keto magazines and look at some of the articles, and this would give me just a whole bunch of ideas to create content with. Of course, that got a little bit more advanced with what I learned from you guys, Answer the Public and all that, but in the beginning it was just doing some searches on YouTube and Google and getting keto magazines.
So good. So a couple things to take away there. You didn't just make one video, you made a couple videos so that you could be ahead, because life happens,
10
right?
videos, yep.
Yeah, so 10 videos, that's ambitious. 10 videos. I mean, I think the first time when I made videos, I made 2, because I was like, I didn't want to be in front of the camera. camera. It was all new. So make more than one video. I loved how you said you did magazines. And I think this is an underrated, magazines and blogs are such a great place to find content. And here's why I love them. One, magazines, people pay a lot of money to have writers and editors on a magazine to get the best content out there. So they're paying to make sure the best content's going out there. So recreate the best content, right? And then blogs are usually structured in a way where people have already done the research. So all you're doing is putting your own spin on the things that people have already done.
That's something that people don't realize they can do. It's like, yeah, somebody made a video very similar with the same topic, but it's your spin, your research, your personality, and nobody has that but you.
Yeah.
So I have so many videos that are similar to other keto creators, but it's my research and my personality, which is unique to you.
Yeah, and a lot of times when I'll make videos, I will say, I read this blog, and I'm going to walk through the steps they talked about, and I'm going to add my pieces in so that I can reference the person that did the work, but it's my spin and allows for that to happen. So really good takeaway on that one. So then you started doing the weekly content, ambitious, starting with 2 videos a week, but you were ready for it because when you commit to something, you commit to something.
That's right.
And then you started creating, so you created something free, and then after they got the free thing, you then gave them the opportunity to go deeper into the programs that you had created.
Yeah, so I created like an ebook, a freemium. It's a free guide, 12 pages, really basic, just a lot of analogies explaining what keto is. They gave me their name and their email for that PDF on my email list, and then I wanted to get them from there to my paid course, and that was the progression of it.
So on YouTube, are you selling your course on YouTube?
No, very rare that I sell it on YouTube. Yeah.
I think a lot of times people think, well, if I have something I'm going to sell, then I have to talk about it on YouTube. Why do you go the long route? Why do you do the free video to the free thing, then into your program?
I want to develop more trust with them. I want them to get the free version of it and kind of like the framework, but if they want to go deeper, then they would come into my academy. So I will, if I'm doing a live stream on YouTube and somebody asks me if I do any health coaching, I'll say not one-on-one, but here's my academy. But it's not something it's not a goal of mine to sell the course on YouTube.
We do that here at Think Media. You'll probably notice that Ben you've already mentioned, we have Video Ranking Academy. It's the best online course for YouTube creators, but we rarely actually talk about it on YouTube. We want to allow people to see that they can trust us with free content, that they can be a part of our world, and we're not here to sell them something, but we do have something to sell if they want to go deeper and become serious.
I've been a Video Ranking Academy member for 2.5 years, also Inner Circle, and I've done a lot of YouTube courses. I've done, I'm not going to name names, other people out there. I've read other books, but this is the most comprehensive one, the seminar system. I always go back there and I'm always learning new stuff. It's the most complete YouTube system I've ever done personally.
Well, thanks, Ben. You can be on my show anytime.
I'll sell the course for you because I'm a living experience.
I love that. And yes, you can be on any time that you want to talk about the success you're having because of YouTube. Now, the last thing that you did as you were growing your keto channel was that you actually increased your uploads. What made you decide to add more to it? And then what types of videos did you add?
So 6 months into it, I had 342 subscribers, which is less than what I had my goals that I wanted to hit. So I was a little frustrated, a little discouraged having 342, although that's awesome if you have 342 subscribers. I mean, that's 342 people who are like, yeah, I want to learn more. But I was a little frustrated and discouraged, but I committed, using that word that you said earlier. I wasn't just interested in growing my YouTube channel, I was committed. So I said, I'm just going to keep doing it. And sooner or later, the universe will break and I'll get what I need to do and reach the people I need to reach. So a video took off, 5 keto fruits you can eat all the time. I saw it just skyrocket off the charts on YouTube, my video. And then I just doubled down, created more videos, 5 vegetables you can eat all the time, 5 keto nuts you can eat all the time. So I started using a lot of these numbers ahead of my videos.
So good. And then you also added in a video podcast.
Yeah.
How did you decide that that's the direction you wanted to go to add in that extra video?
Podcasts are great. I launched the podcast about 7 or 8 months after the YouTube channel. It was just too much bandwidth for one person to do both.
Yeah.
My coach actually told me at that time, he's like, what do you want to do first, the podcast or the YouTube channel? I'm like, let's do both. And he's like, choose one. It's like, all right, let's do YouTube.
Yeah.
And it was a great idea because since YouTube started to take off, the podcast, when it launched, it did so much better because of YouTube. YouTube, I'm on all social media platforms. You know that. TikTok, Instagram, all of them are growing, but more people say, I saw you on YouTube. I found you on YouTube. I meet them in the streets. I know you from YouTube more than any other platform out there. Like all roads lead to YouTube for me, and it's exactly what you guys teach.
Yeah.
So yeah, video podcast is great because you always talk about this. The guest is creating your content. Like you just come up with the questions and the structure like you're doing here, but the guest is actually the person creating your own content for you, and you get to tap into their audience. It's just a win-win.
It is. It's such a win-win, and it's scary though, right? If you've never interviewed someone before, you're like, what do I ask? What is this going to turn out? Talk about that fear going into actually becoming an interview show.
I take pride in my interviews, so I do research, like a lot of research ahead of time. I want to wow the person that I'm interviewing. So I want to know their backstory. I want to know some of the challenges they've had, and I want to bring it up in the conversation. So as long as you do your research, you're gonna have an amazing conversation. But the episode is not about, the recording is not about you or me. It's about the person. So let them share their story, highlight them and what they're doing. It's really putting a spotlight on them. And people love that. I mean, it's one of the best ways to create relationships, as you know, because you could reach out to Gary Vee and say, I'd love to go on Zoom and pick your brain. You're going to get no reply. But if you're like, hey, I have this podcast, I'd love to bring you on, more likely for Gary Vee to say yes to that than just a Zoom call with you.
Oh, that was such a good truth bomb right there, because more people should see the opportunity with YouTube. The last thing that you added also was going live. You're going live on your YouTube channel, and people, that is scary. It was so scary for me the first time. Ben, the first time I went live, I messed up the hook. We teach always have hook, content, and a call to action. I completely bombed the hook. Here's what I did. I was like, we're going to do that again. I clicked stop, deleted the video, and then just started the live again. That was my first ever live on YouTube. So tell me about how it was for you when you started going live.
I've never done that. It's weird, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this camera, there's no eyeballs. I can't see you breathing. It's just a device, right? It's just a weird situation. But the frequency creates the genius. In the beginning, I said, I'm going to do a live stream every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern time on my YouTube channel. It's been 2.5 years since I committed to that. I've only missed 2 Wednesdays in 2.5 years. And the only reason I missed it is because I lost my voice. That's it. So everybody knows Wednesday, Q&A or some sort of topic. In the beginning, it sucks. It's very uncomfortable, but you just keep showing up, keep embracing that suck, and that formula of success is suck, 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 success. Just keep embracing the suck and showing up.
So good. So what is ahead for you now that you're growing this empire on YouTube? Are you going to stick with YouTube? What's the next level for you on YouTube?
YouTube's number one. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
YouTube is growing as you guys teach. So even though, TikTok is blowing up for me and all my other platforms are growing, the main focus is YouTube, because something that I do on YouTube is I could get a 10-minute video on YouTube and create 15 other posts on other social media websites from one YouTube video. So the goal is to get to more subscribers, educate more people. The overall mission is to educate and to inspire 1 billion people. And YouTube is the number one way to do that right now.
I'm so excited. There's over 1 billion people on YouTube, so you could reach them, Ben. I love that. Well, where can people go if they want to learn more about keto, if they want to follow your YouTube journey, and they want to just connect with you on social?
YouTube.com/KetoCamp, or just type in Keto Camp on YouTube. It's camp with a K. Subscribe right away and hit the bell so you're notified of a new upload or a new release. So when you do your YouTube videos, say what I just said to your people subscribed. benazati.com has all my social media information on there, and Amazon has all my books.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being a part of this episode, Ben. Thank you for your time. Thanks for coming to the studio. So
what a
fun.
blessing. I love the studio. It's
So
beautiful.
fun. And I love that, first it started as, just a person who bought our courses, but I truly believe that we are creating something together, and it's just so cool to see success students, coming on the show and being here. And I'm just so grateful that you did the work, that you committed to the journey on YouTube, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
So grateful for you and your team. Thank you.
So fun. Well, I hope that conversation was value to you. And I want to let you know that today's episode was brought to you by winthistech.com. This is where we are giving away a complete YouTube studio. All you need to do is go to winthistech.com, fill out the simple survey that takes about 5 minutes, and it will help us know the exact videos that you want us to make here at Think Media. When you do this, you'll be entered in to win the entire YouTube studio. That's the camera, the lighting, the microphone, and so much more. So go to winthistech.com today to enter into that giveaway. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. I'd love to know your takeaways. What was your aha moment? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye.
While the Aztecs invented floating gardens, the Venetians struggled to grow food. If only they could have relocated the Aztecs to Italy, the country would be swimming in avocados. Mamma mia! Even today, Christina and her team try to keep up with compliance changes in 30 different countries. Thankfully, they now have one partner to do it all. Deal can hire, manage, pay, and develop a global workforce, all while staying compliant.
Up and save at Michael's with our lowest prices of the season. Get up to 60% off thousands of items. Shop now at Michael's.
Creators have to realize this FTC is coming for creators. According to the FTC, you need to disclose so extensively. Make sure, right, if it's on YouTube, toggle the paid promotions button. You need to.
And in this episode of the Think Media Podcast, we're going to be talking about the legal side of YouTube. We're going to be talking about some things that every creator needs to know so that they don't get sued and don't get in trouble.
This is the beauty and nightmare of living in the US, right? You can sue and be sued by anyone. So if you don't have an LLC up that veils, that protects you, then your personal assets might get touched.
What do creators need to know about brand deals?
So usage means that brands can use it however they want. I think usage rights is really important for creators to understand.
What are the most important legal agreements or contracts that YouTubers should have in place if they're starting out? Your YouTube channel might be at risk. And in this episode of the Think Media Podcast, we're going to be talking about the legal side of YouTube. We're going to be talking about some things that every creator needs to know so that they don't get sued and don't get in trouble, and some of the biggest legal mistakes creators make. But we're going to be kicking it off with also some of just the fundamentals to make sure that your YouTube channel, your online business, and your personal brand is in order right up front. Our guest today is Tyler Chow, back on the podcast. She's the creator's attorney. And Tyler, how do you introduce yourself at parties?
Thanks for that question, Sean. I'm so excited to be on again. Our last conversation was so fun, and it's really good to see that people really responded well to it. So this is how I introduce myself. I am the creator's attorney. My life's mission is to protect creators and bring them to seven-figure businesses. I've been an attorney in Hollywood for the last 16 years, and I started my own YouTube channel 2 years ago. And then I fell in love with the space and realized that a lot of creators are being taken advantage of and don't know what they don't know. And so it's really my goal to educate and protect creators, and our conversation, I think, hopefully does that.
Well, I'm excited to dive into some juicy topics. You know, some of the things creators get stuck on is maybe FTC guidelines and disclosures and affiliate marketing. Sometimes they can get in trouble with brands, and creators are getting scammed by brands a lot too, like maybe fake brands that are sliding into their DMs and their email inbox. But I actually just want to start off at a high level based on some questions from our past episode on the business of content creation. Mm-hmm. And so what are the most important legal agreements or contracts that YouTubers should have in place if they're starting out?
Well, I think we touched upon this in the last conversation. I think doing an LLC, I think employment agreements are really important. So if you have anyone working for you, whether they be editors, producers, script writers, anything that is creating content for you, I think they need to be under those contracts. I think some NDAs are helpful, right? If you want to send cease and desist to people who might be sharing confidential information that they learn while working with you or even just talking to you, right? Like maybe you want to partner with somebody or start a channel with somebody and you share information and ideas or about your channel or products or anything. I think NDAs are really important. I think, those are kind of just high level what they need. We talked about what do creators need? They need to pay their taxes. They need to have general liability insurance, defamation insurance, and I think trademarks are really important. I mean, it's not a contract, but it is a legal protection because as we see the future flood of creators who are going to come in, I mean, you look at all the laid off tech people, you look at traditional Hollywood where there's less and less TV and film now. I'm sure you've heard it. People are like wanting to come into the creator space to create content because I think that's the American dream where else do you get to make a video where millions of people will see it, right? That's
Yes.
YouTube.
The dream is real, and the creator economy is estimated to grow and double even in the next couple of years. And you're referencing part one of our conversation, which I'll link to in the show notes, and I encourage listeners to check that out after this episode. But when it comes to contractors, let's say you hired somebody on Upwork. Probably one of the most common things is somebody jumps on an online Fiverr.com. Do you think you're liable or vulnerable if you just outsource some editing or thumbnail design to someone on Fiverr and you don't have a contract with them?
That's a great question. I have not looked at the terms of service for Fiverr or Upwork. I would hope that they have some type of language in there, but I don't know, right? I think it is so much better to have a template, and I am actually selling. I mean, based off of our last conversation, so many people reached out to me that now I didn't before, but I will start selling a shorter template, right? Versus the kind of full length ones that I do for my clients where you can just have them sign. It's a short one where it says everything you do for me is owned by me. Because what you don't want is for them to have your content that they're either editing for you or filming for you, and they say, well, I own that because for whatever reason, they believe so. And if you don't have a piece of paper that says otherwise, then I think that leaves you exposed.
Yeah, that's super smart. And we'll link to your resources in the description down below. And I just think about these types of investments are just critical because it might seem up front like, this is that. This is all the details. I just want to make videos, but protecting yourself is huge. And reference episode number 1 to check out. You mentioned, maybe you don't have to start an LLC day one, but didn't you say maybe if you're earning $1,000 or $2,000 a month consistently, and you're maybe hiring a video editor or somebody that you really want to start having this stuff in order?
Well, I actually wanted to clarify that. I actually just meant $1,000 or $2,000 a year, because I think that's how much it costs to set up I mean, it's even less than that, right? It's probably a few $100s to set up an LLC. I think here's the threshold. If you own your house, if you own a 401k, if you own any assets that you don't want to be touched during a litigation or someone who's suing you, let's say you do a brand deal and they get sick, let's say it's a supplement. I'm making this up, right? Like it's a supplement, they get sick, they're going to sue you, they're going to sue the brand. If you don't have an LLC up that veils, that protects you, then your personal assets might get touched. And here's the thing, you will say, well, how could I get sued? This is the beauty and nightmare of living in the US, right? You can sue and be sued by anyone. And once you get sued, you have to hire an attorney to defend you in that litigation. And I have a client right now who did nothing wrong, who was just a simple employee. He's paid over $100,000 trying to defend himself, trying to get out of this lawsuit. And he's had to file bankruptcy because he has no money left. But he still has to keep borrowing money basically to try to defend himself. Because if you don't defend yourself, then a default judgment gets entered against you, and that follows you for life. Every job that you go to they will take that paycheck. So it's something you can't just get sued and say, well, I'm just not going to defend myself. which I think a lot of people might think, well, I had nothing to do with it. Once you're named in a complaint, you have to answer and you have to defend yourself.
And so LLC stands for limited liability company. If you have one, then like worst case scenario, your LLC goes bankrupt. Worst case scenario, that protection is crushed, but your assets, your house, your cars are not touched, correct?
IRS e-file is now open. Snap your W-2 and file your taxes 100% free. Plus, get your biggest refund. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, and student loan interest. File now.
You ever bought Reese's while eating Reese's? That is some boss behavior.
Yes, and whatever, money you might have in your checking account for the business, that, whatever assets the business owns might be touched. So if you have a lot of equipment, I mean, look, most of us don't have, maybe not you. I think you're different, but I don't own, I probably own a couple $1,000s worth of equipment, right? And that might be touched, but that's really it, whatever the business owns.
Which, as a side note, at a much lower legal level, I know my wife, who's our CFO, has been so helpful on handling a lot of the details of our business. It's funny to say CFO too, like, because we're some small town kids. I'm the CEO. We were just talking about today, like, whatever. We're just trying to figure this thing out. But there was some stuff we did, at least early on. This isn't legal protection, but if you do have a lot of equipment you're investing in, you want to list that on maybe your homeowner's insurance.
Yes.
And if we're up to or renter's insurance, most probably don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but over time it's easy to have $5, $10, $15, $20,000 a year. And that's just kind of a tip to be thoughtful if you have serial numbers, photos, and things like that of the stuff that you have. Again, that just might be some protection. Okay, so different legal agreements that they could get in place. What about intellectual property? As content creators are thinking about A, what they're saying in their videos themselves. B, maybe they put what they know into an online course. They write a book. And then C, maybe they try to create some original characters or whatnot. And I've heard a big debate in this arena that, like, it's kind of hard to defend IP of your ideas at some point. But what are your thoughts on this?
So ideas are not protected. You are correct. However, did you know that every time we put a video up on YouTube, it is automatically copyrighted? You don't have to go to the copyright office, and you can, by the way, you can, but no one will really do that unless you do a movie that's an hour long and you think this could be pirated or I need to protect this. You could officially go to the copyright office and get it copyrighted. But every time we put out our videos on YouTube, it is automatically protected. So anything you put in a tangible form, whether it be a book, a video, a song that's broadcasted, those are protected. But an idea, you're right. Like you and I talking about an idea, that's not protected. So for the things that you've mentioned, I think names, mottos, sayings, there are things about a business that you could protect through a trademark or a patent, if it's something that is protectable by a patent.
You made a video too about a saying, and you suggested there was a creator that actually should trademark her saying because it started to be used as a meme. Do you remember that story?
Yes, the very demure, very mindful. So I got into a fight with another lawyer on LinkedIn because he said, well, that's just a fleeting, fancy, you don't need to protect that. Anybody could have said that and anybody could have made it blow up like that. And I disagree because I think Jules is a certain type of creator who a lot of people respect and like. And I think because she said that saying, it became very viral. And I believe, so the story, in case people don't know, some third party unrelated to the original creator went and basically stole it and went to trademark it. And wow. I thought that was incredibly wrong because this person is just a bad actor. I say lazy, right? You're just stealing people's trending saying. And I really urge Jules and her team to go trademark it because I think once you have that, you are more valuable. I always want my clients, my creator clients, to think about themselves as a business and think about an exit in mind. Most creators probably won't make content for the rest of their lives. They like it, but as you know, after 5 years, 10 years, it really, it can be a recipe for burnout if you're only relying on AdSense and brand deals. If you have your own business, you launch your own products, then you have more control over it. But I think a lot of buyers, like private equity funds who want to buy channels or buy businesses that creators create, they like to look at your IP. What if you trademark? What do you own? And having a portfolio of trademarks makes your business just so much more valuable.
I love that mindset. Before we go on to the next category, I'm curious, for those listening that want to think of this as a long-term business and want to be smart, and listening to this podcast, of course, an hour of legal advice is $1,000 plus. So this podcast is, super, super valuable to think about. And of course, this is also not official advice. This
is not legal advice. Yes,
I have legal advice. It is general,
yes.
But priceless nonetheless. Out of your clients, of course, leaving them anonymous, what are the issues? Like, where are they failing? What are the things that if they would have done it differently, they wouldn't be in the trouble they are with now? And we get the price of advice of maybe learning from their mistakes. Do you want to get your first or next 1,000 subscribers on YouTube faster? For the first time ever, we are hosting a free one-day event at videogrowthday.com. During this one-day online event, you will learn our step-by-step YouTube success system for getting views, subscribers, and making money. You'll get to connect with the Think Media team and be a part of community, conversation, and a bunch of cool giveaways, and you'll leave with your personalized YouTube game plan for success. So to register, just go to videogrowthday.com or click the link in the show notes. Now, let's jump back into the episode.
What a great question. One of the biggest things that I'm doing is unwinding partnership.
Dishes just aren't getting clean.
Problem isn't your machine. It's likely your detergent. I recommend switching to Cascade Platinum Plus. These new pods have the grease-fighting power of Dawn, easily removing up to 100% of tough stuck-on foods. Cascade Platinum Plus.
No one would ever suspect a guy like me.
Being partnership situations. You start a YouTube channel with your best friend. A few years later, you have a falling out. You want to exit somebody out of the channel. So who owns the channel? Most of the time, there isn't a contract in place, and that becomes a problem. Then it becomes a race to, well, who has control of the YouTube channel? Who can, block out access? I don't want that to happen. Just have a partnership agreement from day one. Agree that you both own 50% of the channel. Agree that if someone no longer wants to do it, they can buy the other person out, or there just has to be some exit strategy as to what happens when you want to wind the channel down, or if you want to stay on and somebody else wants to leave, or if you want to take a different direction. What happens when you have a dispute and you're 50-50? Do you bring in a third party to help you resolve that? I mean, these are mechanisms that I can put in place in a partnership agreement. I'm unwinding a lot of these predatory agreements out there where these companies are giving loans to creators. I don't know if you know about these, Sean, but they're loans with really, really loan shark-like terms. They have to keep making content at a certain pace. And if they don't, then these companies threaten to take their channels away. They go talk to brands that they're working with to badmouth them. I mean, this is a very dark, I'm probably going to make a whole video about this, but it's a very dark thing that's happening to a lot of creators right now. And I'm really worried and angry about it. And I'm really debating if I want to call these companies out on LinkedIn and just kind of openly say, stop doing this. But I'm on the fence about it.
Would you not say a name of a company here?
No, I would not.
What are
but if you're
macro?
I'm sorry.
What are like the terms? So then what are maybe like, So what they're doing is they're giving you a loan, but then in the fine print too, they've got some stuff that's maybe like, and if you don't, we get your channel, or if you don't,
Yes.
and then then we have maybe high interest kind of things and stuff that kicks in.
It's the termination. There was one client where he got $100,000. 50% of it was taken away in taxes because of the way they
structured
it.
Jeez.
And it was a $50,000 termination fee. And my client was almost on the verge of a nervous breakdown by the time he came to me. And I went to battle against this company, and I said, and they took more money than they should have. They took it from his brand deals. And so I said, let's go to court. I would love to get you in front of a judge. And I actually was able to get my client out of that deal without paying a dime, because I said, I didn't threaten them. I just said, let's go in front of a judge and let's talk about all the money you've taken. Let's talk about how fair this is. And my client, I've had a lot of creator clients cry to me, and I'm so grateful that I can make such a deep difference in their lives, because sometimes they have no idea what to do. Like when they lose their channels or when they get demonetized or copyright strikes, the fact that I can sometimes help is really, really meaningful. And it makes a world of difference for me.
Man, this is so good. So be very careful about going into partnerships in business and in YouTube channels, and sit down with somebody to get a partnership agreement from day one. Avoid predatory loans and be really thoughtful there. And so those are such good pieces of advice. I want to talk about influencer marketing and FTC guidelines. Of course, anybody listening to this, even if they're just starting, and even if they post a video on YouTube or anywhere on social media, we've all seen it where maybe you're supposed to say hashtag ad, and do you give a verbal disclosure? But if we dig in, a couple stories. Back in 2019, there was the landmark case where YouTube was fined for violating COPPA, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, and that was an FTC thing ultimately, and that shifted things a lot. We had in 2022, the Kardashians were warned for failing to properly disclose paid partnerships on social media. And in 2023, the FTC updated its endorsement guides to clarify disclosure requirements for influencers, emphasizing clear and conspicuous disclosure of any material connection to brands. At a high level, what do you think the mistakes, or what do creators need to know about affiliate marketing, brand deals, disclosures, and maybe where they could get into trouble here?
So there was a third bucket that I forgot to mention from the last question, which is something else I'm really working on with creators, is equity deals. I think if you're a high level creator who is doing 5 to 6 figure brand deals, you should be asking for equity. And so I just wanted to highlight that, because a lot of creators, I will say this to them, huge creators, and they will say, oh, I had no idea I could be asking for equity. But I think Alex Earl taking equity in Poppy, Joe Rogan taking equity in Carnivore Snacks, and of course there's 50 Cent who took equity in Vitamin Water and had a very nice exit. I think I just want to put that on the map for creators at least.
So to be clear, that's kind of also, rather than like a mistake to avoid a bad partnership, it's a mistake to just take 5 figures for a brand deal instead of thinking about equity, because you might be getting the short end of the deal. And creators, this is probably at least for mid-sized creators, would you say?
Probably,
5 figures is going to be 10,000, or 5 figures you're doing $50,000 deals?
Probably on the higher end. However, if you and this is something I truly believe in, you don't have to be a huge creator to have a huge impact, right? I know you agree with this. There are small creators out there who are such experts in their space. Like this morning, I spoke to a tennis creator. She's not a huge creator, but she has such deep impact with tennis brands. And so she might have, let's say she has 10,000. I don't know, actually 10,000 on YouTube, but her impact, and she has gotten equity. So my point is, don't necessarily tie what I just said to, I shouldn't think about this. No, you should be thinking about it from day one. If you're an expert who's just starting their YouTube channel, but you are a doctor or a lawyer or a mechanic or an engineer who can give advise to these startups who are starting, then you can ask for equity from day one. Don't just think because I have a small channel or I haven't been doing brand deals. Think about your position and your value to the company coming to you, wanting to work with you. If you're like my client, the tennis creator, she's a small creator, but she has so much value because she's been a tennis player for 20 years. So like, think about it that way, right? Like, what is the value you're giving to the company? Don't think I shouldn't ask for this. Ask for everything. All they can do is say no. But I think you should be thinking about equity way sooner than most creators are thinking about it.
Whenever heartburn strikes, get fast relief with Tums. It's time to love food back. Also try Tums Gummy Bites.
It's big, chewy, and chocolatey. Big like over 3 times bigger. And it comes in 3 delicious flavors.
New Chips Ahoy, Big Chewy.
If we go a little bit deeper on that, we'll come back to the disclosures. I think, like, this kind of makes me think of also UGC creators and just the idea that user-generated content is a whole niche in and of itself. And you, the person, your ability to create videos, the way you look, the way you sound, your charisma, your history, and what you're saying too, your expertise. You might be day one on YouTube or social. You might have 1,000 subscribers, you're growing that up, but your depth and your expertise, what would it cost for that brand to hire you? If they hired you, they'd probably give you a 6-figure salary if you went and worked for them full time as a face, as a voice, with that level of authority. So now a small YouTube channel is worth way over 6 figures, depending on your background. And in that case, now you're able to maybe negotiate from a different perspective. Am I thinking correctly?
Totally, because we're seeing more professionals starting YouTube channels, right, who have an expertise in something. So I think I love that example you gave. Think of it as 6 figures. I tell my clients when they're about to accept equity deals that it should be cash plus equity. And the cash is basically the services you're providing. If they're asking you for 5 to 10 hours a month, equate that to what is your hourly rate. If they're wanting your expertise, if they're wanting you to, go talk to people in the tennis space or go talk to, this manufacturer or give us advice on, as a tennis expert, like how would you figure out X, Y, and Z? This is something that they do not have information. And then you typically would pay a consultant, right? Companies pay consultants all the time for their expertise. So think of yourself as a consultant to the company, and what would you ask in that sense? So I think sometimes asking $2,000 to $5,000 a month for your expertise, depending on your level, plus equity is very fair.
If we stay on brand deals, at what point do you think it's essential to get an attorney involved? And one of your passions is helping creators earn more money. And is it your belief that most creators could also just charge more besides just equity if they understood things better or maybe had a second opinion, an outside perspective like yours?
Totally. I have a client on LinkedIn who's huge. And when I first met him, he was making probably 2 to 3 times less. And I asked him, I said, how much are you asking for your post on LinkedIn? And he said something less than 4 figures. And I said to him, you should be making 4 to 5 figures. And because of that one advice from me, he started asking for more. I think most creators just don't ask for enough money. They think, oh my goodness, someone wants to give me $500 for a video. Amazing. If you ask the brand what their budget was and how many creators are in the campaign, those 2 questions could probably help you figure out how much you should ask for. When I step into a deal, I usually 2 to 4x the original offer because I asked a bunch of questions. And I have no problem asking for more money for my clients. Now, a lot of us have trouble asking for more money for ourselves. I don't know what psychological block there is. We just feel like we're not worthy or entitled to that. I have no trouble. If someone offers you $10,000, I could say $50,000. Like, I have no trouble doing that. So if you have a manager or an attorney who can do that for you, I think that would be very helpful to just get you away from that lower, current price that you have yourself set at.
I bet 99% of creators can relate to that, including myself. I think on the one hand, I intrinsically know my value, but yet I still hedge a little bit. And that's partly the power of the third person, is just to kind of represent you and not flinch, like not kind of waffle around a little bit. So I'm like, oh, and the creator in me is also, like still hustling, still kind of maybe sometimes thinking small. You just get somebody that's objectively more disconnected from it with expertise like yourself. And it's pretty wild to think that from a little bit of difference in negotiation, that you could just instantly start charging 2 to 3 times more per brand deal, no matter what size of creator you are, simply because of understanding your value. Is there things that happen that you notice where brands, essentially how creators could avoid getting screwed over by brands because of contracts or terms or things that have happened to your clients?
I think most creators, especially younger ones, newer ones don't understand usage rights or, just whitelisting, boosting, things that are in addition. They just think, oh, I'm just giving you a video, but you don't realize what the brand takes your video and does with it. And a lot of times that part the creator gets screwed on, because they say, okay, here's $1,000, and then the brand ends up using it. They don't even realize that you can ask for usage. Usage is 10 to 30% of the base price for every 30 days. If they want control of your channel or they want to put paid ads behind you, that's something you should ask for more money. And I think a lot of creators don't even understand what those are. And sometimes brands or the agencies that they hire to manage the campaign sometimes will not pay creators. That's also something I deal with a lot for big creators, is 6-figure brand deals not getting paid. Typically the brand will pay, but they will pay the agency, and then the agency holds on to it and doesn't pay because for whatever reason, right? Bad management, but they will do this terrible Ponzi pyramid where they will pay a creator from their last paycheck, even though it wasn't the paycheck for that creator. Right. And it's a bad trickle down effect. So, and I've known a lot of creators who are not paid, and it's $500 or $1,000 or $2,000. And they think, well, what's the point? It's going to cost me that much to hire an attorney anyway. I would say that, it costs me not that much of my time to send a letter out for a lot of creators. I've done that. I've done just a one-time demand letter, and they typically pay. Sometimes they don't pay the full price, but at least you're getting something, because their sob story will be, well, we're going under or we're struggling, but here's 50%. And that's better than nothing.
The question isn't which came first, it's who gets to take home that adorable little Reese's egg.
Discover must-have spring dresses for $20 at Target.
It's interesting because I think creators listening to this might not realize how common it is that maybe you could struggle getting paid from brands, them not paying. It could be bad management. And we've learned too that good brands that usually typically end up paying, sometimes 3 months passes, 6 months passes. Sometimes it's taken a year to actually get payment. There's like a French Montana and Drake song that says, hopping out the jet, Lears. Don't call me till the check clears. And one of the things I've learned is that until the check clears, you don't have the money. Like, until you got the money in your bank account, you don't have the money in your bank account. And that's very hard for creator businesses that depend on, I got this great brand deal. It might be tough if you're cash strapped though for a year. And so having diversity.
Totally.
Yeah, go ahead.
And it makes me so mad because you can't go to Best Buy and buy a TV and say, I'm going to pay you in 90 days and take the TV out. It just doesn't work that way. But yet creators are being asked to basically cash flow, the company sometimes for, like you said, 3, 6, 12 months. And I used to work in Hollywood, Disney, Skydance, BuzzFeed, and actors don't fly until the money is in escrow at the agencies, right? They will not get on an airplane to go on location unless that money is there. And so that is something that I would love to be able to do for creators, but that's a whole other thing that, you know, us taking on that, or even do creators join SAG? I mean, that could be another conversation altogether, but I think there's a lot of things that need to change, and procedures need to be there. I think having advocates, I mean, I'm one person, but I do think me shouting very loudly at companies and does change their policy. There was one agency out there that was just not paying creators, and I called them out. I did call them out on LinkedIn because someone else called them out, but I was doing a deal with them currently at that moment with a big creator, and I said, if you don't pay, and actually because of what happened, I was able to ask for 50% upfront upon signature before we even started work, because I have sort of that leverage, and I can shout very loudly, and I know kind of, you know, people in the industry that you can't do this to creators. And I'm on that soapbox, you know, shouting for creators who can't do it themselves.
This episode is brought to you by StreamYard. StreamYard is our go-to platform here at Think Media for live streaming to Facebook and YouTube, and for recording our video podcast. It has an incredibly easy-to-use interface for built-in branding, transitions, text lower thirds, and seamlessly bringing on guests. And they just added an awesome new feature called local recording. This allows you to take the quality to another level by separating out your audio and video from your guests, giving you more control over your content for later use. This feature is perfect for video and podcast creators, and so to get a special deal on StreamYard right now and to see all the features that are included, just go to streamwiththink.com. That is streamwiththink.com. I want to go back to also usage rights to clarify. What creators don't realize is that they might do a brand deal, they get $1,000, they post a video, but in the contract, that brand took usage rights, and now they're running paid ads using your likeness and your media, and they're doing it for the next 5 years.
Or forever, Sean, right?
Forever. Yeah, and that's what I wanted to ask you, because young creators definitely know this, including myself, and you also don't even realize who you may become. You know, whatever, like, so you're a new creator, you're like, I just need $1,000. You can't even imagine that someday you might have a silver play button or beyond, and what might, you know, your influence be. Let me ask you this. So if you did one of those brand deals, and then can you ever get out of it? Like if you
yes,
signed away usage rights and they're still using it, you're like, okay, it's 7 years later, my prominence is, you know, bigger, I'm more established, and yet they're still running ads on my likeness, and maybe their product has even gone downhill. You're like, it's been so long, it was great then, and now it's different, times have changed, but they're still just kind of milking your likeness. What's your advice here?
Or that the brand is so big now that they should be paying you. I have certainly gone back to brands and companies and renegotiated those deals, and I have been successful because they know what they did was wrong, and they know that what they did was taking advantage. And I just say to them, this is taking advantage. Do you know that story of that actor Simu, who you know, he was on he's one of the actors, you know, on the he was the dragon, you know, in the Marvel, the Asian Marvel movie, and when he was starting out as an actor, he was an extra, and he did this short little commercial as like corporate guy number 3 or something. And so now that company owns that stock footage and uses it everywhere, and he tried to go back and buy the stock footage back, but because he gave in perpetuity rights, he couldn't buy it back, and they were not incentivized to sell it back to him. So now they use that to run advertising, and he's a huge star now. He's a Marvel actor. That's to your point. When you're starting out as a creator, you don't think about it. But what happens in a few years if you have 1 million subscribers and you're doing big brand deals, and there's this thing floating out there, and that brand is so usage means that they can run it on their own channels, on their own websites. They can use it to basically run campaigns however they want, and it's something that I think usage rights is really important for creators to understand.
Man, that's really interesting. I do want to close the loop on the influencer marketing FTC guidelines.
Yes.
So
Let's talk about that.
disclosures, and again, I think the Kardashians were just warned, and
Actually, they were fined, Sean.
Oh, they were, okay.
He was fined, yeah. It was like 6 figures because they wanted to make an example of her. It was a crypto campaign.
Okay, and that might have. Oh, yeah. Okay, so they failed to disclose they've been paid to promote cryptocurrency investment schemes. They ended up being fined.
Yes.
So, what's your advice here?
Disclose.
The right energy is everything. Rockstar sustains mind, body, energy. Rockstar energy.
Hurt in a wreck? Moment as your back, with nothing up front.
Disclose so extensively. There are 3 ways you should, according to the FTC. You need to make sure, right, if it's on YouTube, toggle the paid promotions button. You need to say it out loud, right? This video is sponsored by X, Y, and Z. You need to have it on screen somewhere or in the descriptions. I actually maybe 4 different ways. Like, as many ways as you can disclose that you're being paid for this sponsorship, this review. What the FTC wants to be so careful about is they want the consumer, right, the viewers who are watching it, to understand that you, Sean, if you're talking about a product but you were paid for it, that's maybe going to give you a different type of review than if you were to say, I bought this with my own money. How often have you guys bought camera or whatever and you said, we bought this because we wanted to give a neutral, our neutral opinion?
And it's a leveraged point because most people, I think there's mistrust, or you want there to be transparency, but
yes.
What level of trust can you have when you're like, and I think what a lot of people say is they say, listen, I can totally share my opinion. This was sent to me for free. Getting paid for a product review is actually something I think we either don't do it or 99% of the time we won't do it. I'm like, there's no such thing as getting paid for a product review. Getting a free, there is such a thing, but I'm like, now I'm incentivized because I'm getting money. If I get the product free with no holds bar, right? Like, hey, I can say whatever I want. All they did was send us a review unit and listen, here's my thoughts.
Yeah.
I like that. And then the point is to disclose it, right?
Yes. And that's a great point. Even if it's free, you can say, I think there's hashtag gifted or hashtag free, and just as long as they understand that you got it, because sometimes even free is a gift. And the FTC just wants the viewer to understand, how did you get this product? And so they understand your motivations. And it's harder, I think, when it's paid or gifted, to give maybe a neutral opinion about it. That's really my opinion. So
there's probably 3 levels. If you got paid money to review it, that's like the least bias. If you got it free, but you maybe get I trust a lot of creators because they're like a tech review factory. They just get lots of headphones sent to them, lots of cameras sent to them, and they develop maybe a level of trust in their opinion. But they certainly, I think then that 3rd level is the highest level. When a creator jumps on and goes, so the camera I decided to purchase,
right,
which might also be like, hey, out of everything, this is what I spent my own money on, or I did buy this myself regardless, and I don't love it, or I do love it. So that's interesting. Keep going.
So disclose everywhere. I would say over disclose. Now, I understand a lot of times creators don't want to do that because they think, oh, it's like annoying or it's too much information. But I would say the FTC is cracking down on creators. And I think the example you mentioned with Kim Kardashian is a good one. They're realizing, I think the FTC is realizing how much money is going into the creator marketing space. And they want to make sure that people are disclosing that they are getting paid sponsorships or that they're investors, right? Or they're getting equity, even that they're somehow an owner in the business, because that also will skew, right, their opinion about the product. If you know that Alex Earl is now a part owner in Poppy, that might you might think, well, no wonder she likes Poppy so much. She owns part of it. I don't know, right? I'm making that up, but you know what I'm saying. She might really like Poppy, but you do. The FTC just wants the consumer, the buyer, to have all the information before they decide to buy something.
Yeah, and if I'm looking this up right now, it was 2023 that they had updated endorsement guides, clear and conspicuous. Clear, easy to understand. It should be obvious to the audience that the endorser has a relationship with the brand. Conspicuous, difficult to miss. The disclosure should not be placed where it should be placed where people are likely to see it. So you might put it at the top of the description, which is where we do at Think Media. We'll say, like, earns commissions from affiliate links. We'll say this video is not capital NOT sponsored to actually, I mean, to at least frame it, like, just to be clear, this video is not sponsored. We'll use affiliate links pretty much all the time, right? If it's a book or whatever, so we disclose that. So you don't want to bury it. Conspicuous would be not hidden, but put it difficult to miss. And then they say being paid by the brand, getting free products or services from the brand, having a family or employment relationship with the brand, owning stock from the brand. When it comes to affiliate marketing, or when it comes to the YouTube box where it says includes paid promotion, if you purchase a product, which we buy lots of stuff off Amazon ourselves without a brand deal to review or to include in a video. Mm-hmm. And the video is not sponsored. We're not getting paid. We purchase the products ourselves. And we will verbally say, and hey, if you want to check out any of this stuff, there's links in the description down below. Those are our affiliate links, which means we earn commissions or might earn commissions. Would we be okay not checking that YouTube box, or do you think that we just always should?
That's a great question, and I actually will not answer it because I don't know the answer. I need to go actually look at the kind of terms and service about that, because affiliate marketing is, I think, different in terms of what a paid promotion is, because Amazon is not paying you anything. That's what a paid promotion is.
Yeah, not up front.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But they haven't paid you, they haven't sent you a product. You decide to use the product and then put a link to it. I'd like to actually do a little more research. I will never say something I don't exactly know. So I want to check on that, but I don't think you need to. And I do want to answer your question about bearing the hashtags. Yes, always have it at the beginning of your description. It should be visible when they're looking at, before you click on the more, like it should be in the beginning of your description, because the FTC just wants to know that you are disclosing it to your audience and the audience gets to see it right away, that it's not buried. And I love that you have the not promote, this is not promoted. I think what people have to realize, creators have to realize, is FTC is coming for creators. They're realizing how much money is in this space and they want to start making an example. And
Gatorade Zero. All the electrolytes of Gatorade with zero sugar to rehydrate and replenish. So your return is as good as your service.
Running a creator business is overwhelming. Constant content creation, community management, juggling of platforms, and unpredictable income. There has to be an easier way to monetize through memberships. Enter Uscreen. Hands down, the best all-in-one membership platform designed specifically for video creators. We help you generate consistent subscription revenue without losing your mind, with powerful monetization features, easy distribution across devices with a branded membership site and apps, sleek video organization and streaming capabilities, and community tools built to engage and retain more customers. Uscreen gives you the power to connect with your audience like never before, and the VIP treatment from our team of experts on hand to help you every step of the way. To make consistent, reliable revenue while keeping full control of the brand and business you've worked so hard to build. Start your membership journey with Uscreen today.
As we saw from the FTX situation, I mean, a lot of creators got sued because of what happened there. And the FTC wants creators to disclose, but also maybe even do some due diligence. if you're promoting a financial product like crypto, like, I think that's why those fines are so huge. And that's why the FTC came after the creators, was because finance is so regulated, and it's people's money. It's people's entire life savings. It could bankrupt people. So they take that very, very seriously, especially when it comes to finance products.
If we go into that, I mean, this is a massive thing. CoffeeZilla is covering Logan Paul, and he specializes really in a lot of crypto. Andrew Tate has said he wouldn't promote any crypto projects yet, has promoted many, and now is pushing one of his own. And we are seeing a lot of influencers scamming their fans through crypto, a lot of finance influencers, perhaps. Ignorance is not an excuse, but early on with FTX kind of fooled a lot of people, and Sam Bankman-Fried, it seemed like the best thing in town, and yet a lot of people got screwed over on that. And there's all kinds of stuff in this space in regards to giving financial advice about stocks and things pumping up like GameStop and Bed Bath & Beyond, and there's just so much happening here. What should creators know about this crypto space from your perspective? What are the dangers if you're a content creator talking about crypto finance? And how can creators also just stay safe so they don't get scammed or sucked into this stuff?
I want to say don't do it, but I know that's maybe too strict. I think crypto endorsements are really tricky, because you always have a chance that one of the crypto companies that you're endorsing is going to scam its buyers, its users. I know that there are a handful of kind of the legitimate ones, the bigger ones, and I will disclaim this by saying I don't own any crypto. I'm not an expert in crypto. There are maybe even crypto people who can speak better than I can, but I think you just have to be careful with any endorsement that you do. To actually do some research, ask around, maybe ask other finance creators if you're one. Hey, what do you think about this product? I saw that you did an endorsement. Maybe that's it too, right? Is seeing who else has done endorsements and talking to them, and just doing a little bit of homework before you just decide to take a paycheck. Not a paycheck, like a check from a brand. Because they're offering it. And I think a lot of creators are smart. A lot of creators, when they get those very funky looking emails, will know, is this a real brand deal? Is this a fake brand? Is this a scam? I think a lot of creators also say no to brands because they're a little scared. I mean, I certainly have clients who do that, who I'm surprised they will say no. I will bring in, I manage about 30 creators. I bring brand deals to them, and some of them will just say, no, I don't want to do that. Like sometimes it's insurance, and it happens to be a big creator. Let's say it's a food creator. And she says, do I want to sell insurance? It is a paycheck, but what's a great piece of advice I love giving to my clients and creators is ask your audience, what products do you love? And then you can go show the brand, look, my audience loves you. Can we do a partnership? And then actually do that brand deal. And then your audience is blown away because you actually listen to them. That has been very successful for a lot of my clients, is to ask your audience, what products do you guys love right now? I'd love to check some out. And then that would maybe make sense. And it could be something not in their niche. And so that's, I think, something that's very powerful.
No one would ever suspect a guy like me.
As a super powerful tip, right as we're landing the plane of the podcast, you got to listen to this whole episode because it's packed with so much value. But Tyler, I'm only halfway through my questions. And so we will get you on the calendar again. I want you to shout out your stuff in just a second. And I have one final question for you. But listeners, thanks for listening to this episode. And I did my best to actually run all of last 400 comments so far on part one, which will be linked up in the show notes. I ran it through Google Gemini to kind of summarize some themes, and I want to continue to listen to our Think Media podcast listeners and pass those questions along to you. So if you listen on audio, visit the YouTube version, drop in the comments on YouTube. What questions do you have about this stuff? What other topics would be helpful to cover in the future? And definitely subscribe for future episodes of the Think Media podcast, for growing your channel, getting more views, but also for staying safe and building real legacy and a solid business on solid ground. And Tyler, just acknowledge you for so much value. Now, let us know, what are some of the things you have going on? You've got communities, you've got resources. We'll make sure it's all itemized in the show notes. But shout out where people can connect with you for more.
So you can find me on my YouTube channel called Tyler Chow, the Creator's Attorney. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I'm actually writing on there several times a week. I try to write every day, and just kind of everything we cover today, I do on LinkedIn. I am starting a community, and I think really based on our last conversation, Sean, it's shown me that creators really do need a space where they can come get legal advice, that they can maybe talk to other creators as they're starting out or even further along in their journey. And I think I'm going to launch I'm going to open it up. I think I'm going to have a Black Friday sale. So if you join then, it'll be at a discounted rate. But I'm probably going to launch it in either December or January. It's going to be on Mighty Networks, and it will feature myself live probably twice a month. We'll have just a huge Q&A for creators to come in. One of my clients, Jenny Hoyas, will probably, some of my clients will come on and answer questions. Cassandra Bankston's another client on, how to grow your channel, how questions, brand deals, different things. And I really think that creators should diversify their ways of making money. And launching a product, I'm actually helping one creator launch a cereal right now, and another one do press-on nails. Like, I'm just getting to be an expert in all these different things. So I'll cover kind of in those 12 months with me in my community how to launch a product and how to do different things to make money. Like, I'm being the guinea pig. I'm doing the community to see, like, this is a good idea. Capture your email list. I think that's so important. Start asking your audience for their emails, and do affiliates. I mean, I think, Sean, you're really good at that. I'm just starting to do that. One of the products I really love right now is called High Level. It's a CRM. It's a system that it's replaced my Calendly, my DocuSign. It sends out mass SMS for your YouTube and Instagram audience, and I've been using it and I love it. And so check them out. We can hopefully have the links down below, but I will have the wait list for my community. I'll share that with you, Sean, and maybe you can put in the description. That would be great. Because I think it's something that a lot of people are asking for, and you'll be able to buy templates from me as well, like independent contractors, employee, NDAs, anything. I'm very much, hey, Tyler, I need this as a creator, and I will really think about making that for you, because this is my life's mission, is to protect creators and grow you guys all to be 7-figure creators.
Well, we'll make sure that all of that is in the show notes. One short answer to the final question. What do you think is the right mindset for creators in 2025? Or what is the mindset going into the opportunity, but also maybe how they could navigate in terms of seizing the opportunity and staying safe in the creator economy in 2025?
I think 2025 will be a huge year for creators. I think there's just so much focus. I mean, I was at the Forbes and Walmart upfronts this week. I mean, the huge brand is wanting to just work with creators. There were probably 50 creators who were brought in to kind of introduce themselves, and it was electrifying. And all this money is pouring in, private equity funds, Hollywood, like traditional. I had a conversation yesterday with one of the, like, this huge studio owner who wants to know how to start a YouTube channel. I mean, it blew me away. I mean, he's a dad at my son's school, but he was like, I was sharing with him what I was doing. He's like, oh my God, I have to buy you lunch because I want to find out how to start a YouTube channel. I mean, he has such an established brand. If I said his name, you would lose your mind, but I'm going to not. And he's the biggest horror producer out there. I'll just leave it at that. And this is where everyone is looking. everyone wants to become creators. So if you already started your YouTube channel, you're already ahead of all of these people who want to become creators. All the tech people who've been laid off, all the kids, all the teenagers, all of the traditional TV and film people who are out of work right now because film and TV is drastically been slashed with production. They all want to come into the YouTube space because, like I said, it's the American dream. Where else can you make a video and millions of people can see it immediately? There's nowhere else. And so I think be excited, realize that you're in the right place. Sean and Think Media is such an amazing resource for you as you're starting. So I'm so excited for all the creators who are listening.
Future is bright for the creator economy. In the creator economy, like, rate, review, subscribe for future episodes. My name is Sean Cannell, your guide to building a profitable YouTube channel, and this is the Think Media Podcast. We'll catch you in the next one.
The right energy is everything. Rockstar sustains mind, body, energy.
Rockstar energy.
Well, there goes our ad budget.
How is it that you have built this $80K a year business on YouTube?
We've tried a lot of different things. Right now, our main source of revenue is a lot of people are like, oh, I want to grow my Instagram or I want to grow my TikTok. And I think those are great. For me, I've been able to grow my revenue and my YouTube channel faster, I believe, because we've had that email list.
I want to hear about the video series strategy.
I can break this one idea up into a 5-video series. And most likely the person that watches video 1 in the series is going to want to watch the rest because they've already shown interest in it.
What are your tips for busy creators and entrepreneurs that are making excuses that they don't have enough time? Our guest today is going to be revealing how she started a free Bible study YouTube channel and has turned it into an $80,000 a year business without compromising her ministry mission. We're also going to be focusing on why she focuses on video series on YouTube instead of viral one-offs, and how this approach has built her 77,000 subscriber community. We're also going to look at a strategy that grew her channel from 20,000 to 30,000 subscribers with just 12 videos during a year of health struggles. Life is always uncertain and unpredictable, but you can still be consistent on YouTube, and we're going to be getting insights about how she did that, as well as why she has a nonprofit and a business, some of her experience with publishing and self-publishing on Amazon KDP, and also how she has learned at certain times in her journey to record videos at night while her kids are sleeping, and figuring out how to stay consistent over the years and also have grace for running her own pace on YouTube. I'm excited for today's conversation with Christina Patterson. Now, if you're just meeting her, she's a multifaceted entrepreneur, Bible teacher, author, and she's passionate about empowering women both professionally and spiritually. She has a couple different YouTube channels. Beloved Women is her main channel, and she's built an awesome community and has really been doing YouTube for a lot of years. So this is going to be a power-packed episode of insights for how to grow your own channel, start your own channel. And so, Christina, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Sean. It's always great to be here.
So I want to get into your story in a little bit, but let's start with kind of the promise of the episode title and the big question. How is it that you have built this $80K a year business on YouTube? What are your income streams, and how does that all work?
Yeah, well, our mission is always to encourage women in the love of Jesus Christ and the truth of God's word by providing free videos and content specifically on YouTube. And We learned very early on, however, that just because content is free for your viewers to consume, it is not free to produce. So we had to get really smart about being able to still generate income so that we could sustain the mission that we feel called to do. And so we have a few streams of revenue. We've tried a lot of different things, courses.
Behold, a Boost Mobile Unlimited plan at a price that never goes up.
$25 a month forever.
That's a great idea.
I know. I do my best thinking in the shower, so I turn my office into one. Leave it open. Leave it open.
Oreo Thins, flavors that feed your fancy.
A app membership, Bible study guides on Amazon, KDP self-publishing, and things of this such. Right now, our main source of revenue is our app membership. And it's a beautiful thing because it enables us to serve our community a little bit deeper, but also still generate revenue so that we can serve our entire community as a whole.
And what is that app called, and what is how much is it a month or a year for people as being kind of your main source of revenue?
It is called the Beloved Women app. You can search it up on the Apple or Google Play stores. It's $14.99 a month and a little over $100 for the year.
And when did you launch that?
We launched that app in 2019 or 2020? I can't remember off the top of my head, sorry.
And how did you build an app? If listeners are like, I mean, you made an app, was that tough?
Well, it stretched us a lot, actually. I worked with several app developers. First with Vimeo OTT. They were the first app developer that we worked with to create like a membership subscription app. And then we are now with VidApp in conjunction with Kajabi. And we're actually in the next few months going to be moving the app to solely Kajabi, because Kajabi does apps now as well. And so these are just different app developers that we've worked with. And so they do a lot of the work. I just have to make sure that we have the income to pay for it.
To pay the service fee as a software as a service, essentially.
Yes. And so apps are very expensive, especially back then. Now I'm seeing those prices going down as more people, especially entrepreneurs, coaches, nonprofits, are actually seeing the value in developing an app for their services. But yeah, we had to like start small. We started on webs first before we built the app out, made sure we had enough members to support purchasing an app. And then once we had enough revenue to make sure that we could do that, then we actually had the app built out.
I love that. Now, one of the things I want to drill down on is you're saying we. Can you speak to who we is if you've got a team today? But also, you know, we'll unpack your story more, but how we has progressed. Like if early on it was, you know, just you and a spouse, or what has been the journey?
Early on, before the app and all things, it was just me recording videos at night, as you mentioned, while my kids were asleep, because that was the only time that I had to do it. My husband definitely helps out a lot. He's actually a computer engineer, which worked out perfectly for me. So he's able to really like help out a lot with the behind the scenes tech things that nobody knows about. And then probably around the same time as launching the app, I brought in my friend Kirsten. She's our ministry coordinator, so she helps a lot with admin and like community management and things like that. And we've had video editors over the years as well, which was extremely helpful because that takes up so much time. I love editing videos, but it just takes up so much time, and I would prefer to be playing Legos with my son.
Yeah, I love that. So you reached your first 1,000 subscribers in about a year, but I actually kind of want to go back on the timeline here, because it was the year you took things seriously. But when did you officially start the channel? What was your life like then? And then how much time progressed before you kind of took it to the next level and took YouTube a little more seriously?
Yeah, I started the channel in 2013. That's when I created my YouTube channel, and my daughter was 1. I didn't have my son yet, and I just sat down at the kitchen table. I opened up my webcam, and I just recorded a video, and it was horrible. I don't even think I have it live on my channel anymore because I was so embarrassed. But I just thought, like, I can just flip over my camera and just start talking, and I did. But it wasn't very structured or well thought out. But I got started. I had to start somewhere, and so I had my daughter, then we ended up moving. I had my son. And so from 2013 to 2016, I was just trying to navigate having 2 children. And so I would post sometimes, or I think there was probably an entire year, 2014, when my son was born, where I just didn't do anything at all, just trying to navigate that season. And then it wasn't until 2016 where I had the idea to do a Bible study series. And I did a series of videos, and the channel started to really grow because I was becoming more consistent in posting. And so that's kind of where things took off with our actual growth as a channel.
I am curious back to the why and the inspiration. Like in 2013, what was sort of your mindset? What got you even thinking about opening up your laptop, turning on the webcam, and recording a video?
Yeah. You know, Sean, not many people know this about me, but before I had kids, I actually had a job, and I was a grant specialist at the U.S. Department of State. Me and my husband used to live in the D.C. area before all where we are now, and my heart has always been for nonprofit work. And because my mom used to work at she still does actually, the American Red Cross my entire life, and just seeing how much.
Name a more iconic egg than Reese's. Oh, right, Cadbury. I guess it's a tie.
At Aveeno Baby, our formulas moisturize to help prevent dry, itchy skin with the power of oats.
Impact that made in people's lives, I knew that I always wanted to do the same. I always wanted to be like mission driven, impact focused with whatever work that I was doing. And so when I left that job, because we started having kids, and me and my husband just decided it's probably best for us to have at least one of us home. And at that time, I had no idea what I was doing, and I really needed to just cling close to the Lord at that time, because I was like, working at the Department of State was easier than being a mom, and that was a pretty like intense job. And so I was just doing my devotions every morning, and then it was just on my heart to start sharing it. I started a blog. Well, my friend encouraged me. She was like, you should start a blog. And I was like, what's that? What that was. I started a blog, turned into a podcast, and then that's around when in 2013 I found out about YouTube, and it was just really on my heart to like start a YouTube channel. But I looked at YouTube and I was like, there aren't Christians here. Like pastors were not posting their sermons on YouTube back then. So I was just like, I'm kind of out here all by myself. I don't know how this is going to turn out. But I went ahead, pressed record, and it turned out amazing.
Man, I love hearing about your story. And then later on, the idea of a Bible study hit you in 2016, and you started to be more consistent. Now your channel has over 2 million views. Do you remember when your channel first got monetized and what that felt like? Being like, whoa, I'm getting actually paid a few dollars from YouTube, or maybe a few cents when you only get those first few views. But what was that?
I had, I did a book review on a book from Priscilla Schreier called Fervent. And she's like really big in the women's ministry space. And so that video did well for me. And I remember looking at my AdSense, because at that time, you didn't have to like qualify, you just had to apply. So I had applied for the partner program, and I made it, but I wasn't making any money. And then I looked at my analytics, and that video had made 2 cents. And I remember being like, oh, people make money online? Like, this is a thing? And I just remember thinking like, if I just make more videos, I can make more money. And I was like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so then that was before YouTube required 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours of watch time within a 12-month period of time. So then you actually lost monetization.
Right.
And then you had to re-get in. Do you remember when you got into the new terms?
It probably would have been around that 2016 mark. I can't remember. It was 2016, 2017 when I was consistent. It didn't take me long to get back into it. I think I just didn't have the watch hours. And so I was like, okay, let's just post more videos. We can get the watch hours. And it didn't take long. It took longer actually for them to approve. The approval process was like super long, even once you qualified.
I love that. Well, I'm still excited to get into some stuff about seasons and taking breaks, as well as tactics even that you've learned for getting views, your strategy of creating video series. But I want to go a little bit deeper into some of the ways you've earned money. And one of the ways is publishing. Your book, Relentless Joy, became a #1 Amazon bestseller in 2 categories. Take us back, though. Was it true that you got rejected by actual publishers? So how did you kind of have this experience of discovering self-publishing and how that is turned into an opportunity for revenue and an opportunity for listeners maybe that is outside of something they've thought about before?
Yeah, for sure. Outside of those 2 cents that I made in AdSense, self-publishing was the second way that I generated income online. And I went to a conference, like a Christian speaker women's conference or whatever, because I thought that in order to have this impact that I want to have in women's lives, I need to be speaking on stages and I need a traditional publisher. And so I went to this conference and I spoke to agents. I had a book that I had written that I wanted to publish, and I just knew that this book was going to be hot. They were going to be knocking my door down trying to give me a publishing deal until it got rejected by 3 different publishers. And I remember just feeling devastated because I felt stuck because the publishers were like, well, you need more speaking engagements in order to be able to get a publishing deal with us. And then conferences were like, well, you need to have a traditional publisher before you can actually speak on our stages. And I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? I don't have either. So I feel like I can't start anywhere. And during that time, like, I wanted to just kind of give up the idea, but I just felt like God really placed it on my heart. Keep talking and sharing on YouTube, keep speaking on YouTube, and go ahead and self-publish the book. Anyways, like, it was like God had gave me that message for a reason. And even though it wasn't traditionally published, I still felt called to make sure that I at least did my part to make sure that it was out in the world. I couldn't control the results as far as how many people bought it or how many people saw it, but I could control the fact that I pressed publish and made it available. And so I did that, and that was the first book that I published. It was called Daughters of Fire. And then to promote it, I did a video series on YouTube.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
So you could buy the book and then you could watch the video series for free on YouTube. And that actually ended up working really well. And we use that format to this day, where we will self-publish Bible study guides, and then we will have free video series on the YouTube channel so that people can follow along with us. And so I don't even like promote the Bible study guides that much in the videos, or even when we're not doing a series, but we're constantly making royalty from Amazon KDP just from having those books linked in the description and other places as well. And I just love it because it's a way where I'm still creating that community around the content, but then people have a way with the study guides where they can like go deeper. And develop their own personal relationship with God, which is always our goal anyways. So it's just like a win-win where you can figure out what offer works well for you that best serves your audience, but also helps you to meet your revenue goals so that you can continue your mission.
So what was the journey of figuring out how to self-publish? Because it might feel daunting to individuals to think about, okay, logging into Amazon, formatting, like how'd you figure all that stuff out?
YouTube University.
Yes.
Googled everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, it would take, like, when I first got started, I was like, I didn't know how to format. I was like, I just have my Word document, and then I have to go on YouTube and figure out, oh, what did I do wrong? And I have to resubmit it, and they'll be like, oh, it's wrong. And it was just a lot of trial and error. I didn't take like a super like expensive course or anything like that. I didn't have money for that at the time. I just figured it out as I went along by how to format margins for a KDP size 6x9 book. It's all out there. Like, all the information's out there.
Got it. So just diligence, step by step, problem by problem, writing out your content. And then do you just type out chapter by chapter in Google Docs? Like, what's your process?
My process has changed over the years, actually, especially with ChatGPT.
Because you can narrate, you can kind of do you use narration? Yeah.
I do now. I didn't back then. I just typed everything out. As I had an idea, if I had an idea while I was out, I would use my notes app, and then I would come home, put it on my computer, type it out. Now I might be on a walk and just have my voice memo app and just start talking. And that's how I do my video scripts now. And then what's cool with one of the most recent updates for the iPhone, it transcribes your, I don't know if you saw that, it transcribes your voice memos now, where you can just click copy the whole transcription of the entire voice memo.
Got it. So you've really tapped into it's helping you write the books and the Bible studies you're writing using AI. 2, for your video scripts. If you're preparing another video, you're out walking, you start getting an idea, you just start narrating or verbally processing into ChatGPT while you're walking. And then
into my voice memo app.
Okay.
And then I'll take the transcription from that. I'll put that in a ChatGPT and say, hey, can you edit this for spelling, grammar, sentence structure? Keep it in my voice, keep it in my tone. Don't take anything out. Like, I'll be real specific about what I want depending on what I'm trying to do. Write a hook that sounds like this,
Got it. Okay, so the voice memo app on iPhone, make sure you do the recent software update, OS, operating system update. And not only do you have the voice memo app, but then you've got the ability to copy paste the entire transcript, give ChatGPT some instructions to not alter your tone or anything like that. And now you can build out a video script while you're on a walk.
While I'm on a walk. I have had to get like super smart and fast about creating content, because I feel like for me, time is always limited. Because I got it, like I was telling you today, I was like, okay, 2:00, I got to get in the carpool line. Like, there's always, like, with the kids, there's always something going on. Or, like, I was like, okay, I have to record videos at night. And so I feel like for a lot of times I'm, like, working in the fringes, and I've just had to, I am grateful for that, because it's forced me to be disciplined, but it's also forced me to be really innovative and smart with how I create content. And I can create content probably 10 times faster than I could 10 years ago.
Man, it is really a game changer with AI, some of this technology, which is nice because everybody listening to this is asking, like, man, how do I balance this with kids or work or school? And so these are some really juicy tips. Now, I am curious, like, if you can think about what has been like one of your best months from Amazon KDP. It's inspiring. I'm on your Amazon page, your most recent book, Crazy or Called. You got Stand Firm, Worth More Than Rubies, a grace-filled Bible study on the 7 virtues of Proverbs 31, 91 reviews. And over the years, it looks like you've built now multiple listings. So it's kind of like speaks to the longevity of like one book at a time, one Bible study at a time. But like, what are we talking here? Obviously, it's maybe up and down, but like, can you think of like maybe your best month of how much essentially Amazon sent you?
It's probably a few $1,000s.
Wow.
And then on average, we probably get like between $500 and $700 a month if we're not promoting anything. But if we're promoting anything, it'll be substantially larger than that.
Yeah, so this is kind of like this reoccurring revenue stream, also similar to building up ranked videos and building
Right.
up a library of videos. You also have like a library of assets of the books you've written, and they're ebooks. Some of them are physical books as well, and that's all through KDPs, right?
Right. Right.
Have you done any audiobooks?
I haven't done audio. I do want to try that though.
Yes. Well, I love this. Okay. Now, again, we're actually going to get into so much more, but one other question. I call this a lightning round. We're
Okay.
quite a bit into the conversation, but sort of the opening things, kind of talking about the financial side. We've covered, the KDP, AdSense, some of the different ways, you've been earning money with your app. But have you also built an email list?
Oh yes, I'm pretty sure I had an email list before I had a YouTube channel.
Why do you think it's important to have an email list? And do you think that this is an overlooked point for a lot of creators?
I do. I think a lot of people are like focused on, oh, I want to grow my Instagram or I want to grow my TikTok. And I think those are great. For me, I've been able to grow my revenue and my YouTube channel faster, I believe, because we've had that email list, because people have what's called permission marketing, where they're saying, I will give you my email address because I actually want to hear more from you. And so those people are more prone to buy from you, to want to hear from you because they've given you permission to connect with them. They actually want to hear from you. And so that's worked really well for us over the years. Every time I post a video, I make sure to send it out to my email list, and that helps us to, within those first 24 hours, to make sure we get those extra views from our email list. And these are like the women that are like super passionate about the ministry and supporting us. And so they're clicking those videos from the emails, they're sharing with their friends. And so it just helps overall.
Tax season? Head to Boost Mobile and get 6 months of service free when you buy 6 months on the Boost Mobile 5G network. That's a whole year of unlimited service for half the price. Imagine all the savings. But only after you imagine getting to your nearest Boost Mobile first.
Outstanding. Grab the perfect snacks for all the March Madness action.
So how have you done that? I mean, and maybe you've used different softwares over the years, oftentimes called like CRM, customer relationship management, or email marketing softwares. But also why people sign up. Do you give away something free? How have you done that?
Yes. So my primary opt-in, which is like the free gift that I give for people to give us their email, is a video Bible study called Worry Free that I don't share anywhere else. I've been using that same opt-in probably since 2017. And it just works really well. And so I just keep with it. But we have different like prayer guides or 5-day challenges, or quizzes work really well. We have a what spiritual season quiz are you in, or what type of Proverbs 31 quiz are you in? And those work really well as well. So we have multiple opt-ins, but I focus mainly on the Worry-Free Bible Study video. And that's like our main one.
Very inspiring. Okay, so taking a little bit back, you've given us a picture of your past, but I'm kind of curious about seasons of YouTube. A lot of listeners, young kids, it's a whole different ball game than when they're, a little bit grown up, or different seasons of work, balancing work, full-time job with YouTube. And one of the things for you was having a year of health challenges, yet still growing your channel off of just a few videos. Can you tell us that story?
Yes, that was a very hard year for me. I had a lot of health challenges, specifically a slip disc in my cervical spine, and had some issues with one of my eyes. I have glaucoma and had to have surgery, and then another emergency surgery after that. And so it definitely was one of those struggle seasons that I was in, and I'm just trying to survive. I only got like 12 videos out that year, most of them at the beginning of the year, because once everything started spiraling, I just was like tapped out. But I remember looking at the analytics and being like, wow, we still gained like 10,000 subscribers, and people were still watching all of the older videos that I had posted before. And so, as you know, I I really started being consistent in YouTube in 2016. I think I took VRA in 2017 and learning how to rank my videos. And so all those ranked videos were still getting views for me while I was recovering. And that was like super inspiring for me to just continue YouTube, because you go through a season like that or any other season where you feel like you're just struggling and you're like, I could just stay tapped out. Like I could just like not come back and be okay. Like it's a lot of work that content creators put in. It's a lot of effort that you're putting in, and you do have those seasons where life gets hard and it's easier to just kind of like quit, you know? But I think that really inspired me because it showed me like, this is working, and this is probably the best platform to create an impact if that's something that you want to do, even when you're not available. And so that just kind of inspired me. Okay, let's still continue to lean in on this YouTube. Also, I feel called to do it. So, but YouTube helps.
So you mentioned taking our program Video Ranking Academy in 2017. One of the things that sometimes individuals new to the term ranking, or I learned how to rank videos, is they're like, what exactly does that mean? So I'm curious if you were talking to a friend who is kind of brand new to YouTube, and you throw that out. That's not exactly like kitchen table talk with your family. Like, I'm ranking videos. Like, what? Like, how would you try to explain that simply of like what a ranked video is and why that again is so powerful through the different seasons of life?
Yeah, well, I would just explain that, people are coming to YouTube usually searching for something. And so ranking your video means creating your video in a way where the people that are searching for the topic that you talk about can easily find you. So if someone searches how to study the Bible for women, our videos will probably be some of the ones that will pop up at the top, because we've intentionally titled our videos and create our videos in a way to make sure that happens. So that's what I mean when I say rank your video, with starting with the thought of what are people searching for and how can I make this video easy for them to find it?
Yeah, that's why we're obsessed with ranking videos here at Think Media. And I think about it in the seasons of life as well, whether in our family we've had chronic health issues or challenges. Now as a father of a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, it's like I'm always looking for ways to have leverage, essentially videos working for me, things working for me when I'm not working, because it may be that you need to work on something else, recover, rest, or maybe that you're dealing with a really heavy season. And so ranked videos are super powerful. And if you're listening to this and you actually just want to drill down on that one topic and you haven't seen my free class, you can go to thinkmasterclass.com, or I'll link that up in the show notes. This goes more into specifically ranking videos. And so I'll have a link to that free 1-hour class in the show notes if you want to check that out a little bit more. One of the things that has helped you with your channel, you're getting views, is you mentioned in our pre-survey that a well thought out hook is working good for your channel growth right now. And you're doing some new stuff, because you already talked about maybe a prompt that you're giving AI for coming up with these well thought out hooks. Can you break that down?
Yes. So as you already know, Sean, those first few seconds of your video are like super important. YouTube's looking at that, at the engagement in those first few seconds to I guess decide how they'll share that video on the platform. So you definitely, but you also want to just in and of yourself, make sure that people are engaged in those first few seconds so that they continue to watch the video. And so I usually do script my videos out completely.
Late, and you all have families, but I'm just going to keep talking.
Just add crayon. Crayon mango for you. And boss, you get a crayon pineapple if you admit this could have been an email.
If I don't, and I just haven't. outline, I will at least always script the intro or the hook to make sure that whoever's watching knows what the video is going to be about and why it's so important, why they should continue to watch. Usually trying to like pull out some of their pain points and provide a promise that we can help alleviate that if they continue to watch the video. And so one thing that I've been doing is really just studying other people's hooks on YouTube. So, and it doesn't even have to be like Christian content creator. It could just be anybody doing a video, a beauty video or like a productivity video. And so this is like a hack that I've been doing. If I see a video and I'm like, wow, that hook really got me, I will on YouTube transcribes all the videos. I will copy the hook of that video from the transcription and I'll put it in what I call my YouTube copy bank and I'll just save them. And so then as I'm creating my videos, I will take that hook, I'll put it in ChatGPT and I'll say, hey, can you use this hook as a template for my video and create a hook based on this template? That you've created from this other hook. I hope that makes sense. And so ChatGPT will kind of give me like a really rough draft and then I will go in and kind of craft it to really make it my own, but still kind of use the same format of the hook that I really liked from them.
That is a genius YouTube tip and so practical and something that we can immediately use to start getting more views on our videos. I'm also curious, are you using shorts and how consistently are you posting shorts and how do you feel about shorts when it comes to long form versus shorts this year on YouTube?
I am using shorts. So I have a video editor now, love her. And so she'll take probably 2 to 3 shorts out of my long form videos. And then I will post them after I posted the long form video so that I can then link people from that short to then encourage them to watch the long form video. Because as you upload the short, there's I forgot what it's called, the related video that you can connect to.
Yeah, that makes it a clickable link right on the short called related videos.
Right. So
video.
I'm leveraging shorts to just get more views to the long form videos.
Got it. And how effective do you think that's been or what have you noticed?
I was using shorts a lot last year because I was doing a lot of testing and I did see a substantial growth in our views. Both are short view because some people were like, oh, well, you only get people that want to watch short view, the shorts. And so then they don't really watch the long form. I've seen that that has transferred over to having more views on the long form as well. I think it takes time though for some of those numbers to kind of come through. But from what I've seen, it's been working for us. Our view count, both shorts and long form increases anytime that I'm consistently posting shorts.
That's a great insight. I think it also, for listeners, sometimes the issue is like their shorts are different than their long form significantly. So sometimes it almost like creates confusion where I guess in your case, it's like your shorts are aligned. So it's
right.
So the people who are following you, they want to learn about the Bible, they want to learn these principles, and maybe a short as a reminder, they want to dig deeper. And so it might settle the debate because this is a huge debate amongst creators. But for sometimes it's like shorts can be what is getting you views there might be so unrelated to your other content that it could create algorithmic confusion. But the vision of your channel, the brand of your channel, I think it's probably one reason why that's very helpful. That's a great tip for listeners to think about strategic shorts using the related video feature that are tying back to the bigger video that they are a part of. In fact, even to address, sometimes people wonder if they should make a trailer for their long form video. And I don't think you should. I think what you're doing is your editor's cutting out a clip that's valuable on its own that then links back. And then that is a choice that viewers can make if they want to go look at the long form. In fact, I'll link up in the show notes. I had an interesting conversation with Dave Ramsey's YouTube producer and strategist who broke down how they are kind of using a tiered approach to using shorts that lead to their longer form. And it's a pretty some people's favorite video in terms of just kind of how interesting and tactical it is. So that'll be linked in the show notes as well. I need to know about your day. Now, what I mean is, like, at the different seasons of life, whether you got a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, whether you are editing at night, and maybe and then things are different. Today, you got to go into the carpool line or to pick your kids up. Like, what are your tips for busy creators and entrepreneurs that are making excuses that they don't have enough time? How do you do it? And what are maybe just some of the practical things from the time you get up to run a business, to also create content, to run the financials, all the other unseen things. And in just a second, I want to talk about how you actually have a nonprofit set up and an S Corp, and how we could structure some of our YouTube things for where it's relevant for listeners. But what is your productivity tips, and what do you personally do to kill excuses and get everything done?
I don't always get everything done, but I have a planner. We actually have a Beloved Women planner. And so I try to each day kind of write out what I need to get done that day. And I pick like the top, like I have to get this one thing done today.
IRS e-file is now open. Snap your W-2 and file your taxes 100% free. Plus, get your biggest refund. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, and student loan interest. File now. Keep your clothes organized and outfits ready with the Command Folding Clothes Hanger. Easy to install for more hanging space wherever you need it. Holds up to 5 items. No tools required. And when you're done using it, simply fold it away and get on with your day. Command Folding Clothes Hanger.
And try to make sure that's the first thing that I get done. So I would say just prioritizing, taking time to and a lot of people are like, yeah, you can prioritize, but you have to take time and be like, in this season, what is the most important thing for my business, for my ministry, for my nonprofit? What is the most important thing? If it's, we got to submit our taxes, you better do that, then, it might not always be creating a video, or maybe it is today, I got to get a video recorded because we're going out of town next week. So I figure out what is my priority and I try to structure my day around that. I have a block of deep work time. So usually from 9 to 12, I try my best not to schedule anything during that time. For me, I know my zone of genius in my business, so that I'm not distracted with busy work. I know that I have to be writing. I have to be creating content. If I'm not doing that, we're not making money. So from 9 to 12 every day, I'm at this computer and I'm writing something. I'm creating some sort of script or Bible study guide or something like that. And so just being really disciplined about doing those things, but also being clear about what I don't do. So I don't watch that much TV because I just don't have time. I don't have Instagram on my phone because it distracts me. So I would be scrolling all day. I love Instagram. So I'll use different apps to post there when I need to. So just knowing what my distraction weaknesses are and making sure that I have limits there so that I can be present, whether I'm at work or with my family or things like that. But then also what you said is also giving myself grace. If I know that I've been going hard for 10 days straight, I might drop the kids off at school, come home and lay on the couch and go to sleep, and just say, I gotta just rest today. And just being at a point where I know like the signs of like, okay, you're pushing a little bit too hard, like let's reel it back in a little bit. Or, even talk to my ministry coordinator. She might be like, you taking a break anytime soon? You okay? You've been kind of going kind of hard, So having people in my life, her, my husband, they just kind of hold me accountable because I'm definitely can be a worker bee. Like I'm more the person you have to slow down than push to speed up. So
those are some great insights. And I would love to hear a little bit more about your definition of deep work, especially as a content creator. So I want to hear from you. It sounds like a time of killing distractions, but sometimes there's this idea of writer's block, not having the energy. I've heard others call this knowledge workers. Content creators are knowledge workers. Like the effectiveness of your brain and your energy and your focus. What does deep work mean to you? And from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., when you've blocked that out, is there anything you're doing to get in the zone?
For me, deep work is the most important work that I have to do. Like you said, that it's not something I can multitask. Like if I have to do it when the kids are gone, they're at school, like it's not the kind of like emails. I can do that if they're like around, or like creating a thumbnail. I can do that if they're around, but like writing, it's whatever work that I really need to be locked into and paying attention to. So that's deep work for me. So I try to get some food in me first. Something I usually just do, like some scrambled eggs and some bacon, just get some protein in me, maybe some tea if I'm feeling tired. If not, then I don't really do caffeine. But I'm also not like one of those people that wake up at 4 a.m. I tried it. It's not for me. I'm not a morning person, so I just let that go. Everybody else can have that. I'd let that go a long time.
You're not like doing a cold plunge and then like running 20 miles with, like
I love sleep too much. I love to sleep. So I'm one of those people that I know this is like the opposite of what all the productivity people will tell you. But I wake up at the latest moment. I know I have to get out of bed at 7:32 to get the kids to school on time. I'm going to sleep till 7:32. That's just in this season. Maybe later I'll be one of those 4 a.m. people, but not right now.
Oh, you're setting people free right now because again,
I don't do it. I don't do all that. I tried it and I was like,
it's kind of overrated. It's kind of like what's worked for you. It really can be helpful, but like you get enough. So look at the business you've built. Like look at, and I think you're setting people free because we feel pressure as if like these complex morning routines are really the secret. It's really about finding your routine of getting in the zone. But I'm cutting you off. You can keep going.
Right. No, you're good. And so drop the kids off at school, get here, try to get some breakfast in. I will always do a morning devotion, spend some time with God, but it's like maybe 10, 15 minutes. And then I will write down my list of things because I got to get out my head. I'm always thinking, what do I need to do today? So like I just write it down so it's out of my head. And then I'm like, all right, let's get to work.
Yep. And then you do that 5 days a week.
5 days a week. Yes. I would love to take Fridays off, but I'm not there yet.
There's something, it's like if you see anybody that's getting consistent results and you look behind the scenes of their life, you can see a consistent routine. It's like there's something about it's pretty wild. I just think about 5 days a week. You have deep work from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and look at what you've accomplished. That's all. There's also sometimes it's not, some scrambled eggs and some tea is not super fancy.
Right.
It's not even necessarily exciting. It's repetitious, but discipline equals freedom. And so that is inspiring to hear. Yet it also is unique to you. People do different individual things and to get in the zone, but you found out something that works. Anything else on this routine and the discipline that you've consistently had over years that's really compounded?
I would say exercise. I walk. I try to get 2 miles in every day. It's been hard because it's been snowing here. I'm in North Carolina and it's cold for us. And so, but normally when weather's good, when at that 12 o'clock time, 12 or 1, I try to get outside, get some fresh air, get my body moving. And then I'm like thinking and I'm creating ideas and trying to solve problems that came up while I was doing the deep work and, scripting videos, different things like that.
I love that. This is just coming to mind right now, my number one purchase, I think maybe in the last 5 years that I feel like has changed my life is a walking pad for under my standing desk.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. I'm about to buy one now just because you said that. You're the second person I heard say that.
And I researched it forever. I ended up getting, the brand is actually called Walking Pad. I got the C1. It's a foldable walking machine. It's under my desk right now. I've now started to easily get in 10,000 to 15,000 steps a day as I go through about 2 hours of meetings. And I'm going to be on 2 hours of meetings anyways on Zoom.
Right.
And it's been, I've noticed I've been getting less chronic pain that I've been dealing with anyways, up in like shoulders and neck because of my hips. I'm feeling better. That energy's transferring towards the end of the day. And I love getting out, maybe with some Bluetooth headphones. Probably best to actually just go on a walk, but I maybe take phone calls and whatnot. But it actually has been the secret for me lately because of just being able to stay working or multitask, especially with meetings. So anyways, if anybody wants to check that particular one out, I actually think maybe I got the C2. I got the C2 walking pad. I'll link it up in the show notes if anyone's interested in this particular brand. But it's been a game changer, Christina.
I'm sold. You're the second person I heard say that, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I got to get one now.
And I used to actually think when people said get 12,000 steps a day, that I was like, that just sounds impossible. I'm too busy. And then I realized, well, this is actually like not hard, actually, because if you're going to be, I can actually, and then if I'm planning a video, I can talk to my microphone right here. And of course, I think the big investment is also thinking about a sit-stand desk or at least a standing desk that's going to go underneath that. And so there's some other pieces to get in place. So if anybody wants to look at that, I'll link, I have an office tour video and I'm going to do an updated one because I've got my sit-down desk and then my walkie pad. It's like my new favorite thing. It's like under my desk. So anyways, we'll link all of that up in the show notes. Okay, two other big, really cool things to talk about. I want to hear a little bit about S Corp and nonprofit. You have both, and listeners might be interested in how they're going to structure their thing. But I want to hear about the video series strategy first. So one of kind of something that's been working for you, something that you have doubled down on. You mentioned it earlier that when you create a new Bible study series or you write a book that you publish on Amazon KDP, that you create a video series around it. A lot of individuals are out there trying to make a one-off video, a good video, trying to go viral, trying to get views, but you've built these series out. What can you explain, like just maybe how you think about this and why perhaps thinking about a series could be a strategy listeners consider more than just thinking about a solo video?
I think series are so helpful because I can have one idea and come up with a series around it and just kind of break it up. So I don't have to come up with necessarily 5 different ideas. I can break this one idea up into a 5 video series. And most likely the person that watches video one in the series is going to want to watch the rest because they've already shown interest in it. And so it reminds me of like when I was a little girl, I used to watch this soap opera with my mom called All My Children. And at the end of every episode, they would say next time on All My Children. And it would just kind of like spark this interest in you to be like, I can't wait for tomorrow. What's going to happen in the next episode? And so in some of my series, I actually implemented that. So because everything was already recorded, I would say, watch to the end and see a sneak preview of next week's video. And I would put like a little 20, 30 second like clip of what was coming up next week. And I feel like that really help people not just to come back, but to also subscribe because they see like, okay, this isn't just a one-off video. Like she creates content that I'm interested in every single week. And so one thing that I like to say is like, when you show up consistently for your audience, they will show up consistently for you. And we've been able to do that, I would say pretty seamlessly through video series. And I think it does work with the type of content that we're creating as well, because some of the ideas, if you're talking about like the Proverbs 31 woman, you know, it could be a 3-hour video. But I could just break that up into 20-minute, you know, so many 20-minute videos as well.
You know what this is inspiring me is I've studied out when it comes to marketing and psychology. They actually, in email marketing, they called it like a soap opera sequence because soap operas themselves actually use techniques that really work psychologically. You develop emotional bonds with the characters. You have an emotional investment. There's a curiosity gap when cliffhangers happen at the end of episodes. There's routine formation, like just being able to watch that show daily. And listeners could tap into all of these different things when you're building a community on your YouTube channel in a positive way. I know there's people, there's news shows I watch on YouTube. It's part of my routine.
Right.
The curiosity gap is maybe what else is coming next on the podcast, and even the emotional investment. If we take that deeper, some of the I've invested a lot of money in some masterminds and whatnot that revealed this tip, and it was this idea that soap operas are they're actually less about even the story. They're about the characters. Like sometimes the stories aren't that good, but you're invested in the characters. And so a one-off movie, you're like, that's such a great story, where really the soap opera idea is the character itself. And the principle was that if you're building a personal brand, like being invested, there is an aspect where you do want people to get invested in you. Of course, a healthy way, but it's like the reason we keep following you is like, yes, they're learning from the Bible. Yes, they're learning about YouTube. But how else can they connect with you, the individual? And if anything, maybe you're actually not doing this, but it was painting an idea that like weaving in narrative or the connection they actually have. I mean, I really believe that actually, if you're only going to have a one-off video, if all you have is a good video with a good hook, maybe a few videos people watch from you, but if you're going to build a true longevity on YouTube, you do need at some level people to be invested in you. So anyways, we could talk about that. In fact, if you watch the YouTube version of this podcast, let me know if you'd want me to maybe do an episode about the stuff I've studied and learned about YouTubers could apply soap opera techniques. You can leave a comment or any other questions you have for future episodes. But I love that. And we would encourage listeners, right? You do this. We love to do this as well. Don't just think about your next video. Think about your next video series. When you sit down and plan these out, do you know how many episodes they're going to be, or how does that process take? Like, do you actually plan them all before you even press record on the first one?
I've done both. So, but I do know how many videos will be in there because I'm going to have an outline, because I got to know at the first video, I got to know where you're going to end up at the end of the series. So I at least know how many videos are going to be in that series. I try to create at least all the videos in the series first before we start posting, just because something I say in video 7 might make me think I need to reword something in video 3 kind of situation, just because we're doing like Bible study series and I want to make sure that it really is accurate. But I do think it's easier to kind of just create them as you go along, because when my kids were younger, it was easier to batch content. Now it's not as easy for me to batch content as it was then. So it just kind of depends on what season you're in and how much time you actually have.
I love that. All right. Well, I do want to have one final question for you, really, that I think could be, it's a little more advanced, talking about business structure, nonprofits, and all that kind of stuff. But before we kind of get to that final section, I want to acknowledge you for, one, thank you so much for being a part of our community, for the good you're doing in the world, for the content you're putting out there, but also whether you've been a part of some of our challenges in our private group for VRA. I'm just so grateful for you. The entire Think Media team, appreciates you. And really just thanks again for being on the podcast. You've added a ton of value today. Again, before we get to that last question, give a full roll call so people can check out your stuff. You actually have 2 channels. You have another channel that's teaching some of the more YouTube and business stuff. And so, yeah, where can people connect with you? And we'll make sure to list out everything in the show notes.
at a price that never goes up.
$25 a month forever.
That's a great idea.
I know. I do my best thinking in the shower, so I turn my office into one. Leave it open. Leave it open.
Yes, you can find everything about Beloved Women. We're on YouTube at Beloved Women or belovedwomen.org. If you want to learn more about me, like professional teaching, YouTube, business, nonprofit work, you can go to our YouTube channel, The Beloved Studio, or go to ChristinaPatterson.com.
Yeah, I love that. So check out the show notes to connect with Christina. And I do want to hear a little bit about this idea, especially for faith-based ministry type channels. How is it that you came about forming a nonprofit and then also forming an S Corp, and maybe the order of doing those, what you've done strategically about thinking? This will especially be true for Christian content creators or others, maybe trying to figure out what entity to set up, how to do it. And so what's that process been like for you?
For me, I originally started as a nonprofit because I was thinking, okay, if I want to have like this mission driven mindset, it needs to be nonprofit. You know, the focus doesn't need to be money. And like I shared with you earlier, I quickly realized that we still need money though. And so nonprofit does not mean you just don't make money. Like, no, you still need income and revenue to keep your mission going. And so I like to explain it like this, like a for-profit business, the goal is to generate a profit by solving your customers' problems. But when it comes to a nonprofit, your goal is to help make an impact by meeting your community's needs. But there still needs to be structure, and you still need income in both situations. As I've grown, I personally think, and this might be a hot take, Sean, I personally think a lot of people that are starting out with like mission-driven organizations are thinking, oh, I should do a nonprofit, and they probably should do a business. Because a business is going to help you to structure yourself in a way where you can generate income to help propel the mission without as much red tape in certain circumstances. You don't have to have a board of directors or anything like that. I think that people think, okay, well, I want to be a nonprofit because I don't want money to be the focus, because I don't want money to become a distraction. But what I see is a lot of people start nonprofits and they don't have money. And that becomes a distraction because you still need money. So it still becomes a distraction anyways. And so I think that you can still have a mission-driven for-profit business that helps you to generate the money that you need to make the impact that you feel called to have. And so for me, we started off as a nonprofit. We're a 501c3 nonprofit in the United States. That's just like a tax filing name. That means that we have certain tax benefits, and that when people donate to us, they can write that donation off on their taxes. So it's a benefit when to tell people to donate to our organization. And it is about credibility as well, that we're recognized by the government in this way. But when it comes to income generating offers like our app membership or our books or anything like that, then that is a for-profit entity. It started off as a LLC. And then, Sean, I got audited by the IRS. Now, look, everything was clear. But what happened was, because I was an LLC, and this is like high level stuff, but just because I was an LLC, I still have to report that on my personal taxes. And I filed jointly with my husband, and I was like, oh no, we got to separate this. And so that's when I was like, okay, let's do an S Corp where it's a little separate. But that was scary for me, but it also, again, reminded me of the purpose, the importance of really having some sort of organizational structure, despite, if you just want to focus on impact, because the government didn't care. They were like, let me see those receipts. And so it's still important to have a business mindset. A nonprofit is still a business. And you still need to have organization, you still need income, you still need structure, you still need a budget, you still need an accountant probably. And so, and I'm not a professional. This is not professional advice. This is just my experience from the past 10 years being in business, the past 20 years in ministry, in women's ministry. This is my experience. But yeah, you still need to have some sort of structure, whether it's a nonprofit or a business. But don't knock starting a business, even if you feel like you're more faith-based or mission-driven, because that actually might be the way that God provides the revenue to fulfill the mission he's called you to. And that's okay too.
And ultimately today, because there's this ministry aspect to what you're doing, you still have the 501c3 nonprofit set up because it allows for, in this one method, if people want to say, I want to support and make donations to the ministry work you're doing, they can do that. You have the credibility of that, and that's a write-off for them. So for having both for you, and this could be true for faith-based Christian creators, having both might be a practical thing.
Right.
And then you started realizing, though, well, because I got a YouTube income and this app income and whatnot, I'm also going to have this S Corp set up. Am I following that correctly?
That's right.
And I do want to encourage listeners as well. There's a couple good episodes, in fact, a series that we have here on Think Media that is about taxes, corporate structure. And one of the things that is powerful about an S Corp is you actually can save money on self-employment taxes in the US.
Right.
And some, even if you're making, I think I talked to a CPA named Matt in that video series. I think if you're making around $50,000 a year plus, you can start actually putting a few $1,000s back in your pocket just because of how you set up your structure. So I know that at this point, if someone's still listening, number one, you're ride or die on this episode.
Right, thank you.
Number two, this is the real stuff though. There's like tweaks to, real creator economy business stuff. And, we want this podcast to be a resource for you. So we've put a ton. Thank you for all of that value that you've added, Christina. And in the show notes, I'm going to do a roll call here. We've got Christina stuff. You can look at all of that. We will link up that series on taxes, corporate structure. If you want to learn more about ranking videos specifically, Christina is a part of our Video Ranking Academy. It's one of our favorite obsessions here at Think Media. You can also check out that free class. You can watch it on demand. That's at thinkmasterclass.com, and that'll be in the show notes as well. And if you're actually ready to get your 12,000 steps in, you can check out my favorite walking pad and my new favorite purchase I've made. It'll probably 5 to 10 years of my life. The walking pad C2, which is absolutely been a game changer. So always check out the show notes. And Christina, thanks again for adding value. Think Media Podcast. Like, rate, share, review wherever you watch or listen. And I cannot wait to connect with you in a future episode.
Running a creator business is overwhelming. Constant content creation, community management, juggling of platforms, and unpredictable income. There has to be an easier way to monetize through memberships. Enter Uscreen. Hands down, the best all-in-one membership platform designed specifically for video creators. We help you generate consistent subscription revenue without losing your mind, with powerful monetization features, easy distribution across devices with a branded membership site and apps, sleek video organization and streaming capabilities, and community tools built to engage and retain more customers. Uscreen gives you the power to connect with your audience like never before, and the VIP treatment from our team of experts on hand to help you every step of the way. To make consistent, reliable revenue while keeping full control of the brand and business you've worked so hard to build. Start your membership journey with Uscreen today.
It's the Macy's Spring VIP Sale. Save now on the brands you love, like new looks from your favorite designers, and beauty essentials at our best prices. The Spring VIP Sale, our most exclusive brands at prices you won't want to miss. Ends Sunday.
You may have noticed that the YouTube algorithm is changing. A lot of creators are reporting that their channel growth has slowed down and that they are struggling to get views. Meanwhile, other creators are growing like crazy. And there's a reason for that. It's because they understand the 10 ranking factors that matter most for the YouTube algorithm this year. And in today's episode of the Think Media podcast, we're going to be covering all 10 of those factors so that you can use them to your advantage. You know, personally, I've been doing YouTube a long time. I've grown 4 channels, 3 that have gotten a silver play button, 1 that has a gold play button. And so I've seen a lot of the changes over the years to trends on YouTube, to what's happening with the algorithm. And there's some need to know information that we're going to be covering in this episode as we get into these 10 factors. But before we get there, let's talk about the 2 primary ways to get views on YouTube. There is search-based traffic, and there is algorithm-based traffic. And traffic is another word for views. Where do the views come from? Search-based is solving specific problems that people are actively seeking answers for. They are either typing a specific question into the YouTube search bar or a specific topic, or they are showing YouTube they're interested in a particular topic by just clicking on and watching those types of videos. If you get into a hobby, like maybe you're looking for show recaps of your favorite TV show, you're watching Silo or Severance on Apple TV, you start watching a few show recaps and maybe theories and predictions. Well, what happens with the YouTube algorithm? It starts recommending you more videos based off the intent that you have expressed by the search terms you've been typing in and by your viewing behavior. Now, algorithm-based traffic is triggering curiosity and recommendations through compelling promises. So in this case, you might find that YouTube recommends you something that you actually weren't actively searching for, but it triggers your curiosity. It stops the scroll. It gets you to click. There's a compelling promise of education or entertainment or something interesting. And so the reason these 10 ranking factors are so important is because understanding them and adapting your content to them is going to help you benefit from getting views from both sources. Search-based traffic, your videos will rank better, and algorithm-based traffic, you'll be able to go viral, even if that just means viral for you. Normally you get 100 views, you might get 1,000 or 10,000 using the strategies that we're going to dive into right now. So here is the updated YouTube ranking algorithm, the 10 factors that actually matter on YouTube right now. Number 1, viewer satisfaction. YouTube increasingly focuses on how satisfied viewers are with a video, measured through direct feedback like user surveys. Now, if you watch the YouTube version of the Think Media podcast, let me know in the comments, have you ever seen one of these surveys? I have, maybe less than 10 times in my life, but I've certainly got them. And after I watch a video, even if I've watched the entire video, giving viewer signals like, I probably liked it, what YouTube is looking for with these surveys is, do you feel like you wasted your time? Now that you watched that entire video, was it a good and satisfying experience, or were you actually disappointed? This is actually a big shift, because this shift emphasizes content quality and relevance over just click-through rate and watch time. Basically, YouTube doesn't want people to be tricked. You trick people with a title and a thumbnail, and then you continue to bait them along, holding their attention, getting their watch time minutes, only for them to be disappointed at the end. So they are trying to continually tweak the algorithm for viewer satisfaction. And for each of these 10 tips, I'm going to give you an action item. So here is the action item for number 1. Focus on adding genuine value with clear takeaways and ensure viewers feel never tricked or misled. Make sure your content delivers what was promised so viewers don't feel like their time was wasted or that they were manipulated in any way. The second biggest ranking factor for the YouTube algorithm is watch time, aka audience retention. The total time viewers spend watching a video remains a critical factor. Videos that keep viewers engaged longer signal value to YouTube, boosting their ranking in search and recommendations. The important term to know here is time on platform. YouTube wants you to spend as much time on YouTube as possible. Therefore, the longer time you spend on the platform and the longer time an individual spends watching your video, the better. So an action item here is to present information in an organized and structured way while trimming unnecessary fluff. Be strategic about recognizing when parts of your video might get boring and use illustrations and stories to re-engage viewers at those points. And if you can, balance information with storytelling. If you are editing, use visual examples and think about how you can improve your delivery through video editing and other techniques to maintain interest. And by the way, one of the things that we talk about at Think Media is what's called the perfect video recipe. I go into it more in my book, YouTube Secrets, which we are actually giving away free. All I ask is that you pay shipping. And so if you want to check that out and have me mail you a free copy of the updated edition of the best-selling book, YouTube Secrets, you can go to ytsecrets.com or just click the link in the show notes. If you just cover shipping, I will mail you this book. One of the chapters is called the perfect video recipe. And if you grab this special offer, I'll also immediately send you a free video series and downloadable guide on the perfect video recipe. Just go to ytsecrets.com. I'll send it to you for free. You just cover shipping, and you can check out a link in the show notes if you want to take advantage of that. The big idea is, remember that longer retention directly correlates with better rankings. So focus on keeping viewers engaged throughout the entire video. Number 3, engagement signals like likes, comments, and shares. So user interactions like likes and comments, dislikes, and shares are heavily weighted. These actions indicate that viewers find the content compelling, enjoyable, or worth discussing, and it influences the video's visibility. The video will spread in the algorithm, the video will rank in search if you can get those engagement signals. And this tracks back to number 1. These are an indication of satisfaction. If somebody clicks like, you can see they're satisfied. Now, if they click share, it may be because they're like, you gotta see this because I love it. Or it might be like, this is so crazy and weird, you gotta see this. But nevertheless, these engagement signals, it shows that people are going beyond just watching, but they're clicking, they're commenting.
12 grams of protein in every serving. Quaker Protein Instant Oatmeal is there for active mornings, friendly competition, and big moves. Quaker, bring out the good.
The meeting owl brings teams together, even when they're not actually together. The 360 camera and microphone capture the entire room, so it's easy to feel fully present. And the owl automatically focuses on who's talking.
Here's my perspective.
And my perspective over here.
So everyone's ideas are heard. Great, so everyone's on the same page? That was easy.
That people are going beyond just watching, but they're clicking, they're commenting. And so an action item is to actively remind viewers to like, comment, or share your video, which can help create a notable increase in these engagement metrics. But if you're feeling frustrated because you are getting some views, but you feel like you're not getting much engagement, I want to encourage you to tap into the law of reciprocity. And so there's an author named Robert Cialdini, and he wrote one of the most popular books of all time on psychology and persuasion. And the book is called Influence. Now, I will always link up resources like that in the show notes if you want to check out the book. It's kind of academic and thick, so I would recommend watching just a YouTube summary of it and you'll get the big idea. But what it outlines is 6 principles of influence, with the law of reciprocity being one of the principles. Now, here's the idea. It suggests that people feel naturally obligated to return favors or give back when they receive something first. So in the context of YouTube, this means viewers are more likely to engage, hit the like button, comment, or share after you've provided valuable content. Number 4, relevance of metadata. This is your title, your description, and your tags. When it comes to the factors that influence video ranking and videos that trigger the algorithm, metadata still matters because YouTube needs to know what your video is about. Now, Tags don't have much weight, maybe less than 1%. Description has a little bit more weight, maybe less than 10%. But it still can be really important to reinforce what your video is about with some keyword phrases and some SEO in your description. But when it comes to title, that carries a ton of weight, especially if there is a search-based term that you want to be found for. That better be in the title in some way so that it can reinforce that singular topic or that search-based topic in the video. It also is going to have a lot to do with creating viewer interest, the viewer knowing that that video is about the thing they're looking for, and it's going to influence click-through rate. And I would actually add to number 4 that the transcript of your video, meaning the very words you say in the video, is another piece of metadata. YouTube, aka Google, is actually really good at scanning the visual content of your video. It sees faces, it can see if there was a woman in one scene, a man in another scene, it can see words. And so that is part of something that Google can see without you telling it anything, but also the transcript, essentially the words being used in the video. So that is another form of metadata that can reinforce what a user might be searching for, aka Google trying to determine if it should rank or not because it matches the search query of the user. And we can take this fourth one even deeper as to why metadata is so important and why 99% of creators are foolish to ignore it. The truth is, in today's world, YouTube is not just a video platform. It's an ecosystem that extends across search, now across AI, and across social media. And so there's actually 8 core places where YouTube can rank in 2025. So this might sound crazy, but the reason I want so much attention to detail in how I structure and organize and put metadata on my video is because there's 8 areas my video can be discovered, probably more, but at least 8. Here they are. Number 1 is YouTube search. That's the classic way a video ranks when people search for it. They type a search into the search bar, your video shows up somewhere on the first page. Awesome. YouTube search. Number 2, YouTube recommended and homepage. This actually is where most views come from. And so if somebody logs into YouTube and your video is on their homepage, that's called recommended traffic source. That's based on user behavior, AI-driven suggestions. Then there's also the YouTube Shorts feed, which is going to be mostly related to Shorts. But then number 4 is Google search. YouTube videos frequently rank for queries, especially for tutorials, reviews, and how-to content. So knowing to the degree that you reinforce your video with metadata, the quality of the content, the title, the description, the tags. Let me add another one, the chapters, which are time codes that may also have some keyword enforcement that can help you rank on Google search. Number 5, Google Discover. AI-driven content recommendations that appear on Google's homepage may include YouTube videos. AI chatbots, ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot. AI search is starting to expand. People are going to ChatGPT asking questions, processing issues. I have personally seen this. The other day I was talking about a niche story in the Bible. And as I was reading through the Bible cover to cover, I started to talk to ChatGPT about a particular topic that was actually very obscure. And I got recommended a YouTube video of a specific YouTube creator that actually had less than 1,000 views on a YouTube short that happened to be about this hyper-specific Bible story. So I think that in a 2025 world, a lot of people are underestimating the importance of strategy in terms of the very topics they're choosing to make content about, but also you want AI chatbots to know what your video is about. You want Google to know what your video is about. And these metadata signals are going to help. Number 7, social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Reddit. Now, your videos are only going to really gain visibility there when they are shared or embedded on those platforms. But then number 8 is smart TV and streaming recommendations. So this is a massive wave for YouTube. More people are watching YouTube in their living rooms in the United States than Netflix. YouTube being consumed on TVs continues to rise. So video ranking in smart TV recommendations is a whole nother traffic source, kind of different than YouTube 10 years ago. So here's the big idea. In 2025, metadata isn't just communicating with YouTube's algorithm, it's speaking directly to AI systems that increasingly control what content gets discovered. Clear, relevant metadata isn't optional anymore. It's your ticket to visibility, not just in a YouTube world, but in a AI-driven world. So here's a few action items for this. First is continue to prioritize metadata optimization, especially for educational and search-specific content. And if you want help with that, one of my favorite tools is vidIQ. Now, they've been a sponsor over the years. Right now, they're an affiliate of ours. And if you go to vidiq.com/think, you can do a trial of vidIQ for just $1. So that's a great deal. And you can try it out for 30 days. It has a keyword research tool. It has tools to help you do all of your tags in like less than 60 seconds to come up with highly clickable, algorithmic triggering titles that also are reinforced by the keywords that your video needs. It'll do that with AI right when you're posting your video. You may have heard in a previous Think Media podcast episode with Swavey Curly Courtney that she uses vidIQ's title tool, and it has helped her grow her channel and quickly write incredible titles just built in. And it's going to help you with all the metadata steps. It's got a whole checklist. It walks you through just making sure you do all the things and you don't forget about anything. So again, just a resource for you. You could do this manually on your own and just pay attention to detail and make sure you get all the back end of YouTube optimized properly, or use a tool like vidIQ. And after the $1 trial, I think right now the Boost plan is like $16 a month or something like that. So super affordable. And if you want to check that out, vidiq.com/think, or just click the link in the show notes to do a $1 trial of one of the coolest softwares for YouTube optimization called vidIQ. And you can check that out in the show notes. All right, so we are going through YouTube's ranking algorithm, the 10 factors that actually matter in 2025. Number 1, viewer satisfaction. Number 2, watch time, audience retention. Number 3, engagement signals like likes, comments, shares, your transcript, the words you say in your video, time codes, chapters. Number 4, the relevance of metadata, title, description, tags. Number 5, click-through rate. So CTR, aka click-through rate, is the percentage of people who click on your video after seeing it in search results or recommendations. And this still matters like crazy. Eye-catching thumbnails, compelling titles drive click-through rate higher, and they signal viewer interest. And so imagine this, you're walking down a busy street lined with restaurants. Each one has a sign out front, but some signs are faded, they're cluttered, or hard to read, while others are bold, clear, inviting, and they instantly make your mouth water. Which restaurant do you want to walk into? You know, when you think about YouTube, there are a lot of signs out there inviting you to walk through the door into their restaurant, aka click through and watch their video. And so you want to be thinking about it. Is your thumbnails faded, cluttered, hard to read, or are they clear and inviting and instantly recognizable? Are your titles hard to read and clunky and sort of not well optimized, or are they smooth and easy to read? Really, the combination of your topic, of your title, and of your thumbnail, those three things together are going to be the determining factor of your click-through rate. And here's the thing. When it comes to YouTube and really building your brand online, if you confuse, you lose. Clarity is power. And you know, if I had to choose between creativity and clarity, I would choose clarity every single time. So when possible, keep your thumbnails simple, bold, visually striking, and ensure that your titles are sharp, easy to read, and instantly intriguing. And be doing your research to be picking on topics that people want to click on in your niche. The sixth factor for ranking and triggering the algorithm is session duration. Check this out. YouTube values videos that keep users on the platform longer, even after your video ends. So content that leads viewers to watch more videos through playlists or strong end screens improve rankings. So the goal here is not just thinking about how do I get somebody to watch one of my videos. The question is, how do I get people to binge my content? So a couple tips is instead of creating a singular video, think about creating a series. And then when the video is over, think about giving a clear and compelling reason to click the end card and to keep watching more videos in that series, or a not natural follow-up to watch next. Think about organizing your videos in playlists and then giving a call to action to those playlists to let people know that the playlist exists and there's multiple videos that they might be interested in. The ultimate goal and really the action item is architecting binge-worthy experiences when it comes to your videos and thinking beyond a singular video and thinking about multiple different videos. Number 7, video length and depth. So, longer videos that maintain viewer engagement tend to rank better, especially for informational and how-to content. Studies consistently show that top-ranking videos average around 10 to 15 minutes, provided they deliver value throughout. So a couple things here. One, there's a temptation to look for the perfect video length, and the answer is there is not one. However, longer is better if it can hold attention. And I did just give you a number, and this was from deep study of YouTube, Google, my experience, and analyzing data, deep research with AI. 10 to 15 minutes is a great target. You also can analyze different creators out there. You notice some of the biggest creators pushing their video lengths to 24 minutes, about the length of a half-an-hour TV show. So you start thinking, okay, why are people doing longer content? Well, not just to fluff up their content. If it can hold viewer retention, what does YouTube want? They want you on the platform for as long as possible. So deliver value throughout and stretch your content length if you can keep value packed in the video. You know, I recently spoke at an event in Las Vegas. It was the CEO summit for Keller Williams Realty. And I shared the one strategy I would focus on if I was a real estate agent, but for anybody listening to this podcast, you want to be consistent on YouTube this year, this is the one strategy I'd focus on, and here it is. Create at least one high quality, strategically optimized, long form, horizontal video every single week. And here's my definition. 6 to 15 minutes plus. So create at least one high quality, strategically optimized, long form, 6 to 15 minute plus horizontal video each week. Do that over and over and over and get 1% better with every upload. And I believe you can start building momentum on YouTube and triggering the algorithm. And if we play out this algorithm factor even deeper, there is a time and place for ultra long form content. That's a massive opportunity this year. You know, one of the videos we just uploaded on our Think Media channel is a YouTube business masterclass that is 4 hours and 45 minutes long. It actually just featured 4 sessions of our event, Grow with Video Live, that happens in Las Vegas, all in one video. But check this out. The RPM of the video is $17 because of the subject matter, business, you know, online marketing, etc. And at this moment, this is kind of funny, but for a 4 hour and 45 minute video, the average view duration is 14 minutes right now. So you might be like, that's so short compared to the length of video. True, but it's also like really long compared to people's average attention on YouTube. All right, we're going through 10 factors, and we have reached number 8, which is channel authority and consistency. Channels with a history of regular uploads, high engagement, and a growing subscriber base are seen as more authoritative. I mentioned this earlier, channel authority. Consistent posting and a strong subscriber count can indirectly boost individual rankings. Now, I actually have 2 things to share with you here. And one is, in today's world, there's an argument that subscribers don't matter. It's the content that matters, and brand new channels are having breakout videos. So never make excuses. Know that you can succeed starting from scratch right now. Also know that sometimes a big subscriber count can kind of be a weakness, or it can just be meaningless because the subscribers have moved on. Such random content was posted on the channel that the subscribers are inconsistent and not actively clicking on the videos right now. However, if you have an engaged subscriber base, you have an advantage Because when you post a video, it's going to boost the ranking because more people are clicking on it and they're watching it right now. And if you've got a reputation of regular uploads that are high quality, high engagement, meaning they are watched and engaged with and commented on and liked, just think about it. It's like a flywheel of success. More success begets more success. So think about it like this. Imagine you're a woman over 40 looking for fitness advice, and you find two channels. One has hundreds of workouts, nutrition tips, strength training videos, specifically designed for women in their 40s and 50s and beyond. But then the other channel has a mix of random content. It has some fitness, it has some travel vlogs, it also has some cooking, and some generic health tips. Which channel are you more likely to trust for your specific needs? So people always debate, do I need a niche down? Should I post random content? I don't know. I feel like this kind of settles it. Again, you can do that. And if you're building a personal brand and people are subscribing for you and your random life adventures, all right, good luck. But based on those two channels, even just health itself, it's like, oh, am I just subscribing for random health advice? Or could I be really dialed in? You're a woman in your 40s, you're looking for fitness advice, you're looking for like that perfect channel that's going to align with you. That's how channel authority works. The more focused your content, the more YouTube and your audience recognize you as the go-to expert for that content. Instead of just being another fitness channel, you become the channel for fitness over 40, making it easier to rank, get more recommendations, and build a loyal following. Number 9, viewer history and personalization. This is a big one because this ties into the theme and you having a niche and you having clarity about what your channel is about. YouTube tailors results based on viewers' watch and search history. So videos that align with a user's past behavior are more likely to rank higher for that individual, making relevance to the audience interests a massive key. So think about what's on your YouTube homepage when you open the app. If you're watching the YouTube version of the podcast, let me know. Like, what are the top things and types of videos that are recommended to you? And think about this. The videos recommended to you are not random. They're based on what you've watched before, what you've engaged with, and what YouTube thinks you will enjoy. There isn't just one YouTube homepage that everyone in the world sees. There's actually billions of homepages. This is what personalization means. So now put yourself in the shoes of your ideal viewer. What's on their homepage? Hopefully your videos. What videos are they clicking on? What creators are they already watching? This gives you the opportunity to think about researching competitors in your niche, thinking about associating your content with other content in your niche because you're understanding the algorithm, you're understanding how YouTube works. So understanding this helps you create content that naturally fits into other people's recommended feeds. And if your video aligns with what they're already watching, YouTube is far more likely to push it to them, leading to more clicks, higher watch time, and better rankings. At Think Media, we say the creator who understands the viewer best wins. Because when you understand the viewer and the target audience you want to reach, you're making topics that align with their problems and their ambitions, their pain points, the things they want to click on. Even if you're not great at writing titles or designing thumbnails, you still can get great results if you're good at identifying the topics, pain points, concerns, desires of your target audience, the other stuff they're watching that you want to be associated with. And so to rank on YouTube in 2025, you need to understand two things. You need to understand your target audience, and you need to understand how the YouTube algorithm works. And so how do you apply this? Focus on 3 things. Number 1, know your audience. Number 2, understand how YouTube recommends content. And then number 3, use that knowledge to create video topics and titles that match what your audience is already searching for. Number 10, freshness of content. This is one of the coolest things to know about YouTube because this is why there's always a chance to break out. You know, there's 2 types of content. There's evergreen content and there's trending content. Evergreen content can rank for months and even years if it sustains engagement over time. But trending topics, think about time-sensitive queries, things like news. They often get a ranking boost. And a lot of times, if you're quick, you can jump on topics before anyone else. And so content that is recently uploaded about topics that people care about, aka freshness of content, is something that YouTube will rank, even if it's only for a short time. And so let me ask you a question. Don't you always want the latest information? Do you prefer new and fresh content, or do you look for old content? I mean, I'm sure there's situations where maybe you are looking for maybe an old classic book is better than a new book that's unproven. But when I search for something on YouTube, I sometimes get frustrated if the top result is from 3 years ago, especially if I'm looking for updates on a product, on a platform, on an industry trend. I'm wondering, what's changed? What's new? Is there a more current video? This is why, if you're starting on YouTube, you're starting from scratch, there's always an opportunity to grow. YouTube is wide open because the world is always changing. There's always a desire for fresh content. That's the opportunity. Fresh content always has a chance to rank because people want the latest updates. And here's the kicker, many creators can't keep up. They move on, they get busy, they don't update their content. Established creators, maybe because they're established, they're kind of settled, they're kind of comfortable, money's come in, they maybe have some old content that's still making some money, some of their life has changed or transitioned a little bit. This is an opportunity for you. It's a huge advantage for new channels wanting to break through to tap into fresh content. And for a really tactical action item, consider this. A specific time can be a huge ranking factor. You know, I mentioned earlier on our main channel, Think Media, we talk a lot about cameras. So trying to rank for best camera in 2025 is much easier than trying to rank for best camera in general. And every time the Earth circles the sun, we get another shot at a fresh year. And in some industries, you even have a chance to maybe target the month. In real estate, you might do monthly market updates, even weekly. And in other niches, you can jump on trends seasonally, winter, spring, summer, fall, and combine the season with the year. And so there is always an opportunity on YouTube when it comes to freshness of content. It just means you need to be strategic, you need to be forward thinking, have a fresh mindset of not just seeing the problems and the competition, but seeing the opportunities and the possibilities that are before you if you are more creative with your content and you tap into these 10 factors. If you enjoy episodes like this, it always means the world if you like, rate, share, review wherever you watch or listen to the Think Media podcast. If you want to get a free copy, just cover shipping and I will mail you the updated second edition of YouTube Secrets. Just go to ytsecrets.com or click the link in the show notes to order your free copy of YouTube Secrets. Again, just cover shipping and that'll be on the way in the mail to you right away. Until next time, my name is Sean Cannell, your guide to building a profitable YouTube channel, and I cannot wait to connect with you in a future episode.
Behold, a Boost Mobile Unlimited plan at a price that never goes up.
$25 a month forever.
That's a great idea.
I know. I do all my best thinking in the shower. Well, I was in my office, and then light bulb. $25 a month forever. Oh, I hope somebody wrote that down.
Oh, I did.
I'm learning a lot. Keep writing. I'm a marketing genius.
It is easier than ever to win on YouTube. When you take YouTube Shorts from your Instagram account, TikTok account, and those shorts don't represent the actual content that can be found on your channel, then that's what's really destroying your channel.
Today we have a rare privilege of learning from the YouTube strategist behind Dave Ramsey and his media empire. How did Ramsey Network go from 20 million monthly views to over 100 million?
So really it comes down to a short strategy, and really it's 3 pillars.
This might be the best podcast we've ever had.
Our YouTube Shorts are only created from our top top performing videos. And I'll quickly dive into kind of how we do that.
If you want to get more views on your YouTube videos, today we have a rare privilege of learning from the YouTube strategist behind Dave Ramsey and his media empire. Right now, just on YouTube, they're generating over 100 million views plus per month, and sometimes it's much larger than that. And then when you multiply the media across platforms, the numbers get crazy. But in this video, we're going to be learning tips that you can apply even as a small or new creator, as well as perhaps a business owner or somebody that wants to scale and grow a media company. And so I'm sitting here with Connor Wagner. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me, Sean. You nailed my last name really well. It's a tough one.
Well, I appreciate you. And we'll get a little bit into your backstory and your journey, but let's kick it off. How did Ramsey Network go from 20 million monthly views to over 100 million?
So it's kind of a long story, and really excited to share the data behind it, because even I asked the leadership team, like, are we okay with like leaking this information out? Because I look around like, how is nobody else doing this? So really it comes down to a short strategy, and really it's 3 pillars, and I have it written down right here. The first thing we do, which is crazy, that it's as simple as this, is all of our shorts are strictly made out of our top performing videos. So we'll use the Ramsey Show as an example. So right now we publish 2 highlight videos a day, and that's around 60 a month. The vast majority of those are average, above average, some are below average. Whenever we look at our YouTube short strategy, we're only creating YouTube shorts out of the top performing highlights. The second thing we look at is each of those YouTube shorts is then linked to the top performing video of that YouTube short, if that makes sense. And then lastly, we're also looking at the swipe away rates, and we're making sure those are at least 70% or above. And I know that's really kind of tactical and in the weeds, so to speak, but
no, it's great.
That's our secret strategy.
And for people that might be new to this, there's a feature on YouTube Shorts called related video.
Yep.
So when you post this YouTube short, it's linking back to the full conversation in the highlight.
Yep.
And anybody that posts a YouTube short, you could link to any video really, but
You got weak. Where's you still out there? She coming? She coming? You wanna go out to the hospital? She coming? Huh?